All these lies and delusions wake me up, show me a new dawn. Open your eyes, bright children of light. I am awakened, I am awakened. All these lies and delusions wake me up, show me a new dawn. Open your eyes, bright children of light. I am awakened, I am awakened. All these lies and delusions wake me up, show me a new dawn. Open your eyes, rise, children of light. I am awakened, I am awakened. Clear my mind and my soul. Gave me a new man. Oh, made me whole. I rise up. I'll be a new light. I am awakened. I am awakened.
Yes, you
I
are.
am awakened. All these lies and delusions wake me up, show me a new dawn. Open your eyes, rise, children of light. I am awakened, I am awakened. Israelite's journey.
Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom to all the Israelite fam scattered to the four corners of the earth. Hope everybody is blessed, and I hope everybody's at least somewhat aware of what's been going on in the earth. You know, it's important for us, and particularly these times, to check out the climate that's going on in the earth. Us that believe in Bible prophecy, the things that we know that the Most High has solidified through prophecy. Once He says it is done, once it's like, "Thus saith the Most High," is done. So we know that the culmination of the times, according to prophecy, is happening. Our deliverance, our 400 years, and even the interactions of the nations. So just want to say shalom to all the brothers and sisters. Brother Najee.
Shalom, brother Elisha. Hope you're doing well today. Shalom to all the fam out there. Thank you for joining us today. Like brother Elisha was saying, just some crazy stuff going on. We've seen this, stuff culminating. Things are starting to happen. Things are starting to ramp up. Even if it's not the time right now, we see the question of what this is titled: Israel and Iran strikes. Is it the start of World War III? So that's the question today. We're going to be going through some scripts. We're going to be going through Jeremiah, going through Isaiah, going through First Ezra. We got some clips for you today. And then while we're doing this, brothers and sisters, please keep in mind that this is a question, and we're trying to help come to a conclusion. And even if we don't come to a conclusion at the end, what we do know is that the Most High's word is true. And as Brother Elisha said, if the Most High said it, thus saith the Lord, we know that it will come to pass.
And, I basically got a short answer out there to the people, whether it's the start of World War III or not.
Mm-hmm.
It is a start to the events that will lead to it. Why do we say that? Iran technically hasn't really made a military advancement towards another nation in almost 200 years, I believe it is. Now, it's always been a somewhat, sketchy relationship. I can't even say relationship, but that Iran and Israel always had tensions, particularly because of some of the outspoken things you might have heard the Ayatollah say towards the so-called nation of Israel, which we know they're not. We know that the Ish people are not a nation, and we know who the true Israelites are. But this feud has been going on for years, even going back to when Israel killed a high-ranking general. I believe it was a drone strike some years ago,
Hmm.
which I believe Iran did not retaliate on. Brother, did you want to say something to that?
Oh no, I was just agreeing with you. It was about a year and a half, 2 years ago when that strike took place. Yes.
Now, I'm not going to say cooler heads prevail, but it's a lot that goes with this. And prior to that, at least at that time, Saudi Arabia and Iran were still some tensions were there. They had not come into a peace agreement, but that's not the case anymore. Now, based off the mediation skills of Beijing, of course, everything the will of the Most High, Saudi Arabia and Iran actually have a peace deal. They are no longer what you would call enemies. They're actually, I'm not going to say allies, but they would be cordial, and that some of the allies that Iran has is partly some of the allies that Saudi Arabia has. Now, you fast forward to now, and you have the recent strike from the Israeli government, which, it goes without saying that American and the current state or the Israeli people, the Ish people, believe that they can kill other people's diplomats, other people's citizens, and that there should be no strike, there should be no recourse. There should be no, hey, we're going to retaliate to show that we're not going to just let you run over. So, what was it, a week ago or 2 weeks ago? The Israeli government actually shot some drones at the embassy of Iran, killing about 12 people. I think 7 to 12 people. Amongst those people was a high-ranking general. Brother, did you want to comment to that?
No, 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 no comment to that. That is true. I believe it was a Iranian embassy in Syria, correct?
I thought it was actually in Iran, but it, I can't say so. I thought it actually was on Iranian soil, but I could be wrong. It could have been in Syria.
Yeah, I believe it was an Iranian embassy in Syria, and it killed about 12 very important officials of our from the Iranian government.
All right. So with that being said, we ain't gonna just talk about it. We're gonna show like the series of events that led up to this. And if you've been listening to our channel, you've been listening to Salt of the Earth um for the last at least a year and a half, 2 years, you might have heard different podcasts or stream yards we've done, and this topic has come up about Iran, about Israel, about what would happen if a military strike happened from either or, which we already knew that it was going to come from the warmongers of the earth. But what would happen with that? What would be the implications of it? So we're gonna show like the series of events that led up to what happened the other day. Even when we spoke on the other podcast where we were talking about that that Iran gave 24 to 72 hours that they would actually respond in a military show of force towards Israel within that time frame due to the embassy attack. So we're gonna play, brother. You mind playing that fair use?
Yeah, sure, no problem, bro. Here we go.
Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. And this is a copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
All right, now we're gonna play a video, short clip of this video when the Iranian spokesperson basically said that that Israel had about 24 to 72 hours before they was going to shoot back a military response to Israel's attack on Iran or the embassy. Mind you, now this was several days ago, and we did mention this. If you go back to, I believe, the video that we did regarding, I think in the clips or the one after we did about the flooding in America. So let me go on and share my screen, and we're going to take a quick look at this, just in case you haven't seen it. Can you see it, brother?
Yeah, I can see your screen, bro.
Use our list.
Now, Sunday marked 6 months since Hamas launched its deadly attack on Israel, taking hundreds of people hostage and starting the war in Gaza. Over 100 people are reportedly still being held in the enclave, and Israel has been reducing its presence in southern Gaza. The country's defense minister says troops wrapped up a key phase of the offensive and are preparing for future operations. This comes as Iran vows to avenge the deaths of several officials killed by an Israeli attack on the Iranian embassy in Syria last week. For more on this, we go to CBS News national security contributor Samantha Vinograd. She's also the former acting assistant secretary for counterterrorism.
Now, we've already seen that Iran had vowed to respond due to the embassy attack. Now, as the brother has said in Syria, so brother, good looking out that you knew the exact location. And the actual time they said was 24 to 72 hours that they responded. They did. We really don't need to see how they're going to spin it in favor of Israel and their point of view, that Israel's, for whatever reason, if they attack somebody else, they're still protecting themselves. So throwing the first punch for some reason is not starting the fight, and this according to the European powers. But Iran said that they would strike back, in which they did the other day. And we're going to play another short video real quick, showing the climate, like what happened the other day when they did this military strike. So, brother, can you still see my screen?
Cannot see your screen anymore. No, man.
We're going to share it again right now. And mind you, we want to keep being in mind to look out for these things. When we start talking about let us go, and we're talking about the Most High giving us our deliverance, there's a lot of things that got to happen in the earth. A lot of things that got to happen in the earth that leads to these things. So the wars going on overseas, Iran, so-called Medes, sorry about that, or who we would call the Medes according to prophecy, which we'll get into those prophecies. These things lead to our deliverance. And it's not much different from the time when Darius, after hearing the letters written or the proclamation of Cyrus, he gave the order to deliver our people in the book of First Ezra. It's not much different when our people returned to the land after the Medes overthrew Babylon. And you can see it's a parallel to some of those prophecies, a parallel to those prophecies to the daughter of Babylon. So let me grab up this video real quick. If I can get this to stop just automatically playing. And let's see. All right, so here we go right here. Let me share my screen. Got so many windows up. All right, brother, can you hear this? Can you see it?
All right. Can hear it and see it. Yes.
War in the Middle East exploding in a way that the world has feared from last fall. Iran launching tonight weapons aimed for the first time ever right towards Israel. The skies filling with missiles and hundreds of drones. Tel Aviv to Jerusalem and across the Jewish state, hundreds of thousands forced to take cover as the sound of sirens and explosions continue through the night and into the morning.
As the sun starts to rise in the Middle East, so many questions remain unanswered. How will Israel counter? Will the U.S. respond? And is there any hope to prevent this war from widening, putting more countries at odds? Good evening.
So we're going to stop it right there. Now, right now, the climate is that, can they stop this from spreading? Now, we say that even if it gives the appearance that it's slowed or stopped from spreading, that the implications is already, this is exactly what Israel wanted. Israel, for the longest time, wanted a war with Iran. And right now they got it. And then you got to look at the motivations behind why they started this war. Why was it integral right now for them to do it? Could it be because of the BRICS? The BRICS conglomerate of nations that's starting their own currency, that has started their own currency? Could it be because they know that they have to go through Syria? They have to make their advancements through the whole of the Middle East? Could it be a number of things that led to this? Could they know that because of the collapse of this economy, which is tied in large part to Israel, they're looking to follow the same formula that they followed during World War II, start a war. This helps make money. This causes destabilization. The same thing, the same methodology was performed back then. Are we looking at it like that? But how is the Most High seeing it? How is the Most High moving these things to the redemption of his people? Brother, you want to speak on that?
Yeah, I was just thinking there were, you know, what you said last there is how is the Most High looking on this? There were a lot of other reasons given, or possible reasons, that Israel could be doing this right now. One of them was to kind of take away the attention from what's going on, what they're doing to the Palestinians in Gaza. How many people they are, you know, bombing and displacing from their homes, and actually have killed tens of thousands. Another reason that came up was that this was inevitable, that Israel is actually trying to start a war, that they knew bombing a Iranian embassy, even if in another place, would get a response from Iran. They just, I think maybe there's been some, you know, they didn't really estimate what type of response they would get. But it seems that the response that they have gotten is still not up to par with what it could be. There's been some reports also that Iran could have done a lot more damage than they actually have done so far. And we just don't know how much this is going to escalate yet.
Well, because at the moment, supposedly, the fake news is reporting that between Israel, the Iron Dome that the United States supplied to Israel, and their counter defense, whatever you want to call it, defenses or military defenses, basically was able to destroy about 99% of the missiles or the drones shot at Israel. So basically, you're talking about, this is the perception that, hey, look, they barely even touched us. Basically, if you destroy 99% of something, or at least of these missiles coming, basically saying one got in, or whatever the totality of 99% would be, according to what the 200 so-called strikes of or drones that was sent. I think they believe it was over 200, and 99% of them that they're reporting actually got countered by the Iron Dome, United States, and Israel. So that really nothing really happened. But yet you have another report where it says Israel now is on the clock to respond to Iran. And the word out right now is that, okay, how can they get it to cease here? And that's the thing. It can't cease here because it's been too long that not only the United States has wanted a war with Iran, but Israel definitely been begging for one. And I think that this is something the Most High allowed to deceive their hearts. Like, when you think about Iraq, it was reported that the United States and Israel know that Iran is basically 4 times the size, or have the 4 times the military might that Iraq did. It's not the same. Like, this is a way bigger military with more technological advancement enough to hit Israel pretty frequent. We've seen that through the current strikes that they sent at Israel. But Israel is saying right now, or at least the current climate, is that they have to respond. Brother, grab up Isaiah 13:17, please, if you don't mind.
No problem.
Now we're looking at it like brother says the U.S. Air Force helped shooting down the drones. Yeah, that's what we were just talking about, is that they're claiming that they knocked down or shot down 99%. So it's like, if somebody throws a punch and they miss, then that's essentially what Israel is saying. And you got the choice to not throw back. Then you basically saying nothing landed, nothing hit you. But biblically, we know that this was coming. I mean, you always have for the last few years or years that it was like this underlying tension that war could break out with Iran and Israel. And there's been a lot of posturing going back and forth over the years about that, bro. Let me know when you grabbed it.
It should be on the screen now. Do you not see it?
Can you read that for me?
Isaiah 13 and you said 17?
Yeah, 13, 17.
13, 17. All right, bro. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it.
The Most High shall stir up the heart of the Medes. And it says they will not regard gold. But right now, and I think that that's partly what the United States and Iran, oh, I'm sorry, and the United States and Israel partly fears because of the BRICS situation. Matter of fact, I'm gonna share my screen, and I just in case you're not aware of BRICS, is look at some of the nations that's tied up into the BRICS. And the BRICS is a conglomerate of nations, Iran being one of them, that now have a new currency. Supposedly, it got put into circulation on April 1st, I believe it was, or at least that was the word. And that they're trying to avoid or go away from the dollar. That they don't no longer will, and that this BRICS currency is supposed to be backed by gold. This is the word on that. So we're going to show this show this website, and you can see some of the nations that's connected. You got Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. I don't know if you can see it, but this is Saudi Arabia, Argentina, Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, and the UAE, which is the United Arab Emirates. Now, I'll just read real quick. It says the BRICS group is emerging economics is welcome 2024 by officially adding 5 developing nations, specifically the bloc introduced Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Iran, Egypt, Ethiopia to kick off the new year. And one thing that's important about that, especially seeing as though Beijing has brokered that peace deal, brother, if you don't mind, if you can find something online about that Beijing actually was the mediator, not the United States, that actually brought Saudi Arabia and Israel back together. And that's important because now you have the whole Arab world together. So when it talks about the kings of the Medes, we're not talking about just one king, we talk about the kings of the Medes or the Medes. And if you count right here, what do we have here? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And right here, it looks like 11. That's mighty close to the 10 horns that would burn her with fire. Interestingly enough, not to mention some of United States' older so-called allies that's no longer in conjunction with the country. If you think about the what is it what was the conglomerate that the United States was with Europe? I don't know. I forget the name of that group they were in, and they're not in it anymore. The European Union. I don't know why that slipped my mind. United States, I think years ago, separated itself from the European Union. I think also Great Britain, if I'm not mistaken, separated itself from the European Union. So they're no longer with the other European nations, at least on that front, as being together, similarly as the UAE is or the United Arab Emirates. But this BRIC organization right here, you got 11 nations, strong nations, and that's important to realize is that these nations that's together, all these Middle Eastern countries that sided with a lot of the powers all over the earth, you only got 2 countries standing together. And you can say that they're basically one, Israel and the United States. And you're talking about them being against the whole of the Middle East. Brother, did you grab up something on that?
Yeah, I'm gonna share my screen real quick.
All right.
I'm thinking maybe maybe this could be what you are looking for.
All right.
Can you see that?
1 second. Yeah, read some. Let me see if that's what it is. I'm not talking about the BRICS summit for Beijing Declaration. I'm talking about actually Beijing actually got a peace agreement signed between Iran and Saudi Arabia. I had an article about that, and I think this happened last year. Nobody's talking about it, but that's important. that Iran and Saudi Arabia are no longer enemies. They're actually on the same page, and particularly with the BRICS. Like, I guess you would have to sign some type of peace agreement if you're going to get together to change the national or the world currency from the dollar. Now, the last time we had talk of this during the gold rush is when the United States got into the Second World War. Or was it the First World War? I think it's actually the First World War. And they went to war, particularly because the economy was collapsing. I don't know if you've seen, it was one time they had a documentary about the founders of the United States and how the First World War actually was what helped the United States economy bounce back. That's because they were producing, a lot of the factories producing. There you go. Beijing, read that for me, brother, if you don't mind.
All
Just
right.
a portion of it.
All right. I'll go through the first paragraph real quick. Top Iranian and Saudi security officials met in Beijing on March 10th, 2023, to begin a new chapter in bilateral affairs following sky-high tensions. The neighbors in the Persian Gulf signed a deal to restore full-fledged diplomatic ties and reactivate a 2001 security cooperation agreement. The absence of any U.S. or European role, combined with Iraq, Omani, and Chinese mediation that made this diplomatic breakthrough possible, spoke volumes about what one Emirati political scientist described as the new post-American Gulf era.
Now, if you just look at this particular situation, usually the United States is the one who brokers deals to bring different countries together to dissolve tensions. They're usually the foreign. They're usually the ones who lead the earth to, if any type of peace deal is broken out, if anything happens, usually the United States is usually one called on to do it. But this is not the case here, because a lot of these nations are tired of the United States. They're separating from the United States. A lot of countries don't want to deal with the United States. And what we have to understand is that these things can have an effect on how we live here today almost immediately. I mean, it wouldn't take long for the climate to change. I went to the store recently, and all of a sudden everything was up by 75 cents at Dollar General. Yeah, I shop at Dollar General. It's by 75 cents. Now that's a big hike from just a day before. Now imagine if the United States trade partners, a lot of their trade partners, a lot of the ways they get things on the shelves, usually made in China, a lot of exports, a lot of these things are not, or they go up in price because the dollar is now devalued. Imagine if the dollar was on the level of the Mexican peso. Imagine spending $150 just to get a Big Mac. And I know that's being that's being taken, I guess you could say, the extreme approach to that. But the possibilities of it, with how prices can go up and how that can cause civil unrest. You got a new movie out called Civil War, which I haven't seen it, but they're basically giving you a foreshadow of what's to come. Now, when people recently, I think in San Francisco, you had a lot of people doing snatch and grabs. Now, prices went up mildly, at least how you would look at it compared to what it can do. And look at what people are doing. A lot of the places that have self-checkout no longer have self-checkout because of all the stealing. A lot of stores, when people just running around grabbing, Walmart now got a membership because people were stealing so much through self-checkout, Dollar General, a lot of these places. Because people are saying how high things are, and then there are really no jobs. There's really no money. The price, the cost of living is so much higher now than it ever was, that you can't even afford to live here. Talking about there's no more middle class. Imagine if things go up further than that. And that's what we're on the precipice of. This is the whole reason that Omar Gaddafi was assassinated. Omar Gaddafi wanted to start a new currency that only dealt with Africa, that was backed by gold. And they got him up out of there because he was a smaller country. But now they can't do that. They can't just go out there and take out Iran, especially if, let me grab this up real quick, when Russia basically said that any advance by the United States on Iran, that they're going to help Iran. But what are we talking about? This is not the start of a third world war. Do you hear that? Matter of fact, let me grab that up real quick, brother. You got something you want to say to what I said?
No, just to echo everything that you just said. you know, the world, I think, is starting to recognize, and certainly in that area where we see all this tension, they're starting to recognize that
Sorry about
Israel.
that, brother.
Oh, I'm sorry. You okay?
Now you know my these videos autoplay. I gotta turn that autoplay off.
Oh no, I actually didn't hear anything, but I was just going to say, uh, in that area, they starting to notice that Israel, along with the backing of the United States, holds this posture as if they can do whatever they want. They can police the world, and at the same time, don't have to take any any policing themselves. They can go ahead and they can, you know, start wars in certain places, deplete certain places of their resources and their land, bomb certain people, displace certain people, and they themselves never have to suffer or shouldn't have to suffer any of the consequences of that. And I think what's happening now, what we're starting to see as these things start to escalate on the planet all over the world, is that the world and the world powers are starting to recognize what the United States, as the head, but also through Israel, is doing to the rest of the world. And we have to admit, if we know anything about Bible prophecy, that this is prophecy. You know, this is prophecy. This is part of what is going to happen to Babylon, or the daughter of Babylon, if you will, which is the United States. Now, there's some people who don't agree with that, who don't think that the daughter of Babylon is the United States, and that's okay. I would say just take another look at prophecy and peer into it really well, and you will see what the scriptures are speaking about when it speaks about these things.
Yeah, and I mean, if we want to go into proving that America is the daughter of Babylon, that's not a hard thing to prove. The Bible states it the same way the Bible says that you must that in 6 days the Most High created the heavens and the earth, and on the seventh day that we're supposed to rest to do no work. The same way the Bible states that the Bible states that the daughter of Babylon is Edom. You know, now I know some people got some debate about whether Edom is the so-called Caucasoid or the European powers, but that's easily proven too. But let's just check out this video real quick where it shows that Russia said it has the support of Iran. That Russia is advising America, hey, listen, if you jump into this fight militarily against Iran, that Iran has help. And for people who say that that's not a sign of what can happen if things break out, you're not talking about little countries that have contras and guerrillas running around inside the swamps and inside the rainforest. We're talking about superpowers that have military, have nuclear weapons. Talking about where you can have the earth and complete annihilation by the push of a button. So let me share my screen and we're going to look at this video real quick showing that the Vladimir Putin says Iran has their support. So can y'all see my screen?
Yeah, I can see the screen, man.
All right. Now it's saying that Vladimir Putin says they won't stand by if the United States wants to come over. Now everybody knows that Biden has already said that they're going to go over there, that they're going to support Israel. So it's not a matter of if; it's an inevitability that this is going to happen. And I don't. everybody knows Russia is not bluffing. Iran is not bluffing. Israel is not bluffing. This is fears of a third world war. And biblically, we can see where the Medes being riled up can lead to that end. Why do we say that? Because Iran would be considered the Medes today, staying in ancient Persia. They would be considered of this day, the nation from which the Bible is talking about. And we'll grab that up as well. But brother, you want to say anything to that? And we're going to show something else about how the Iran spokesman, I believe he's the chairman, spoke about that United States will be touched if they were to get involved. And he said this before Iran responded.
Yeah, I was about to kind of mention that. I know I had seen that. I think we spoke about that. I had seen that video way back, but nothing really to mention, bro. It's on point. The video you just showed pretty much shows that you know, the fear of this escalating is, you know, kind of on the table and ready to go already. I don't think that at this point Israel will back down. I don't think that they can at this point because of what they already started. I don't think that the United States can pull back their support for Israel. And so all that needs to happen is we go a little bit further, right? And Israel strikes back or strikes again, rather, on Iran. And then all we need is Russia's support of Iran and the United States support of Israel. And we're in it. We're in it from there. And I don't think there's any turning back from that. Go ahead, bro.
And I believe that that's where we're at right now. I'm going to try to grab up this short video where Iran, one of its diplomats, here, matter of fact, here it go right here. I want y'all to hear this real quick. It's only 39-second video. Now, mind you, this was said months ago. So this was already a foreshadowing. They already knew that it was going in this direction. It was already inevitable. But the tensions between Israel and Iran. And then we're gonna go looking into what the Bible says about it. But just to play this video real quick, let me share my screen again.
All right. While you're sharing that, I'll just say fair use again. We already played the you know, Brother Cleo spelling it out. I just think we need to say it again.
You see my screen, bro?
Yeah, we can see it, bro.
The history of Iranian civilization shows that we have always supported peace and security. But today in New York and the United Nations, I say frankly to the American statesmen who are now managing the genocide in Palestine that we do not welcome to expansion of the war in the region. But I warn, if the genocide in Gaza continues, they will not be spared from this fire.
Now, have you heard that? He said the United States will not be spared from this fire. And I think people are thinking they're just going to respond overseas. We're talking about responding on the streets of America. If you've seen before the eclipse happened, that there were heightened security threats regarding Iran supposedly committing a terrorist attack in America, which is strange in a sense because Iran hasn't done such things, or historically that we don't have any mention of that. But that was the fear that during the eclipse Iran may try something. But Iran diplomat talking about the situation in Palestine says America would not be spared from this fire. We're talking about seeing a time where things actually happen in the streets that we live on. Brother?
I'm nothing to say, bro. Nothing to say.
Now these things been going on for years leading up to this moment, leading up to the day. Now people will say, okay, well, what does that have to do with America? Like you got a dude from which I like their channel, the Young Turks. And we're gonna play something real quick from the Young Turks because I just like how he puts this. Just give me 2 shakes of a lamb's tail and just listen to what he says about the situation as far as America playing a part. And America plays a part that does have something to do with us over here. That has something to do with us right now. Because we live in America and we're waiting for certain things to happen, particularly regarding our deliverance. So let's see. Let me know if y'all can hear it, brother.
I can see it. Can't hear it. Oh, there we go. I can hear it.
All right.
Iran has launched strikes against Israel. We've got over 100 drones in the air. Some are beginning to get intercepted right now by U.S. and Israel. And Hezbollah has also begun to strike. This is in retaliation for Israel hitting the Iranian consulate in Syria, killing their top general and 7 people overall in the Iranian government. So do not let anybody tell you that this is Iran launching unilaterally and aggressively. No, this is in retaliation. Main thing, guys, is we should not be involved in this war at all. If you were against George Bush bringing us into Iraq, you should definitely be against Biden bringing us into Iran. Iran is 4 times the size of Iraq and has much greater military capabilities. Let's make sure that we stay out of this war. No American kids, no American money going to this disaster.
Now, obviously, that's fool's gold to believe that's going to happen, that America is not going to get involved. America has tied itself to Israel, or what they're calling Israel. We all know that that's not Israel. We know who Israel is. And let me share my screen once again just to show that Biden is already, which I don't know if Biden's a clone or not. If you look at Biden, I can't imagine that this man is a real person. He looks like somebody else in a wetsuit. I don't.
He always has this look of death to me. Like he's about to die any minute.
I don't know, man. Like they run around with these clones, and they got the unclean spirits running around in synthetic bodies, talking about they grays and aliens and all this other craziness that they're about to perpetuate on Earth. But that's a whole nother discussion. Can you see my screen, brother?
Yeah, we can see it. Yeah.
All right. So Biden pledges G7 response, U.S. support for Israel after Iran attacks. So we'll just see right here, Washington, April 13th. President Joe Biden on Saturday condemned Iranian attacks, which is, I mean, this is the funny thing. You condemning the person who is actually responding to the second attack from Israel. Because let's not forget, Israel did kill over a year and a half ago, brother, if I'm not mistaken, a high-ranking diplomat or, political figure in Iran, which they didn't strike back, which they were going to, but I think some other things were at work to stop them from doing it. And then Israel attacks an embassy in Syria that belongs to Iran. So this is the second time. Brother, am I right or wrong?
No, you're absolutely right. Iran did show incredible restraint about a year and a half, 2 years ago, not striking back when their people, if I remember correctly, an article I read or something I saw a while back, their people were urging them to strike back, and they did not. The government did not. So they've shown some restraint, but I believe that the Most High restrained them, and right about now, Most High is about to let them loose.
So with that being said, now you have, 2 weeks ago that Israel says, okay, let's double down and attack the embassy for Iran in Syria, killing a high-ranking general and about 7 to 12 other people, or around that number. And this is the vocation of Joe Biden. President Joe Biden on Saturday condemned Iranian attacks on military facilities in Israel, pledged a coordinated G7 diplomatic response, and said the United States had helped Israel take down nearly all of the attacking drones and missiles. So it says Biden, who cut short a trip to Delaware and returned to Washington earlier Saturday to meet with advisors about the attack, said U.S. forces and facilities had not been hit. But yet he condemns Iranian attacks. But there is no vocation whatsoever about the fact that the offensive of a military attack came from Israel first. The same way it's been the same going through the Gaza Strip against the Palestinians and moving its way into Syria, which would lead to Damascus and Iraq. They're not talking about that. But to them, they're condemning. And if you look at the news, you look at Fox News, you got to see how it's being spun. It makes it look like Israel is the victim. No different than the United States is always the victim of some terror threat, but actually nobody has ever committed these things against the country. But yet they feel comfortable enough to say we can go and destabilize countries, we can go and destroy countries, we can go and kill their women, their children, their military. And whatever happens in response, if anything, God forbid they speak a word publicly, then these are people that are terror threats. These are Hamas or other things of that nature. So you have the United States doubling down. Hey, they're going to support Israel. And I have another article which says Biden vows ironclad support for Israel amid Iran attack fears. Now, this was 3 days ago. So he says ironclad. Ironclad means that, Israel is my mother and my father. I don't care what they do to you. We have ironclad support for the current state of Israel. And that's real dangerous because that tells the world that's looking, and we're not talking about a bunch of small nations. That tells the world that's looking that, hey, listen, it doesn't even matter if Israel commits genocide.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter they kill women and children. They don't care if they steal resources. No matter what, we have their back. Which this is somewhat foolish. Matter of fact, this is greatly foolish on the part of the United States government, and the Most High has made them foolish. The Most High said, let me put them to sleep so that they believe that no matter what happens, that they can take on the world. And the Most High has put them to sleep like that, that they should feel like that. Brother, while we on, just not to forget the last point I was making, go to grab up Revelation 17:16, and then I'm going to take a look back at the number of nations within the BRIC. I know that a lot of people got different breakdowns on the 10 horns and the nations, but let's just take a look at it for edification purposes.
What's that? Revelation 17, verse 16?
Yeah, 17:16.
All
Now,
right,
we're
I'm
not
gonna
saying
check.
that this is the day that we're at, but this is the direction we're going.
All right, here we go. Revelation 17, verse 16. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire.
And burn her with fire, the 10 horns. Now, grab up BRICS again and count the nations on there. Just in correlation with what we're looking at. Because we go into Jeremiah, we can see that the Medes um, are the ones that the Most High are going to use. Now, when we're talking about the Most High using them, we're talking about this is the pretext. This is what is starting it all. Because of the United States involvement with Israel, and because Israel's chief so-called enemy is Iran, now you got to look at the players that support these nations. Like Russia has come out and said they have complete support for Iran, that they're not going to allow the United States to get involved, and that Russia doesn't get involved. Now, mind, this is the second time in the last year and some change that the United States and Russia has somewhat tensions, considering the United States is supplying Ukraine with weapons and counterintelligence technology against Russia. And that's a nation or a neighboring country that they're actively involved in a military conflict. And there was some tensions there. But go ahead, brother.
Okay, I'm gonna read off these nations again. Of course, what spells out the acronym for BRICS, we got Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Underneath these proposed new members for 2023, and I believe some of these members have gotten in by now. Correct, bro? I'm not sure about
Yeah, I
that.
believe a few of the nations they are in now. I can't say which ones. I actually had an article about that, but the ones
So
that are
we
listed are definitely in.
right. So we got Saudi Arabia, we got Argentina, we got Egypt, we got Ethiopia, we got Iran, and we got the UAE, which is United Emirates.
The United Emirates, and the United Emirates is a conglomerate of Arab nations. Some of them you might not have heard of, but they do have power in the region. And one thing about having power in the region, when you got the United Arab Emirates, you got Saudi Arabia, you got Iran, you got Iraq, Afghanistan. If they had any disagreements before, they definitely are united against the modern state of Israel, because they know the implications of Israel moving up through Syria and going into further their so-called military might and power and bringing the United States with them to that region. You're talking about the complete takeover of the so-called Middle East, which them Arabs are not going to allow. But that's where the daughter of Babylon is coming in. And some people say, okay, well, what does that have to do with the United States? What does that have to do with Esau, period? Brother, if you don't mind, grab up 1 Ezra 4:45. Not the regular King James, but grab up the one that's actually inside the Apocrypha. Grab up 1 Ezra 4:45 about the daughter. We're talking about the daughter of Babylon.
Well, you said not the King James, and that's the one that I have. So let me grab the other one up. Give me a second.
Let me show my screen there. Let me hold up. If you go to, let me see if this one has it in there. You don't have the one with the Apocrypha?
I can grab it up if you give me a bit.
Yeah, grab up the one with the Apocrypha. The reason we're grabbing up the one with the Apocrypha is because when we talk about the daughter of the Chaldees, when we talk about the daughter of Babylon, there's still some ambiguity with some people that this is not Esau. And to get over them hurdles, why is it that the Most High would be bringing vengeance upon Edom, particularly with the things that the Chaldees of Babylon did when they took down the temple? Because what some people that we're somewhat forgetting is that if you go back and just look at it from a scriptural point of view, every step of the way Esau is likened or has been our oppressor in every way or likened to it. You go into Revelations, it says there that spiritual Edom, or the nation of spiritual Edom, or spiritual Egypt and Edom. Oh, I'm sorry, and Sodom. We know that that's talking about America, house of bondage being Egypt. We know that it's talking about America because of the LGBTQWXYZ being the representation of Sodom, the homosexuality, the sexual immorality. We're not going back to the time when I believe is it Eldad had slayed the priests in the reign of Saul, when David was being pursued by Saul. We're not talking about when he boasted that he tore down the temple and said and burned it with fire, like we're about to read in 2nd Ezra. That he murdered our people under the reign of Antiochus Epiphanes during the time of the Maccabees. That any of our people in the Maccabees that was keeping the law, he actually made them, he burnt someone with fire, he killed them, that they became Gentiles in the spirit, which you can see in Ephesians, the 2nd chapter. He committed the abomination that make desolate when General Pompey went into the Holy Holy. This is all Esau. He sabotaged the priesthood and kingship under the Maccabees and gave it to himself. If you remember Antipater and how he dealt with the Romans and had Jonathan Maccabeus killed. Had Jonathan Maccabeus killed and then was able to have his son be moved into the kingship inside Judah. Not even talk about how under the Romans actually are the ones who actually killed the Mashiach. Now, I know that we were complicit, but they actually were the ones who decided to pull the lever. They were the ones who put him up on the tree. They were the ones who actually pierced him when he was on the tree. We're not even talking about how they sacked Jerusalem 70 AD and all our people went scattering to Africa to flee Roman persecution. Every major prophecy in the book, Esau is somehow attached to it under the guise of another nation, or being referenced to spiritually as the nations that have oppressed us. Matter of fact, let me grab up Hebrews 11 and 20 real quick. Hebrews 11 and 20. Anybody in the chat can just put it in. Hebrews 11 and 20. And know that one of the most profound prophecies in the New Testament is one that we look over a lot of times. Hebrews 11 and 20. By faith, Isaac blessed Jacob and Esau concerning things to come, regarding the prophecies to come. So he blessed Jacob and Esau concerning the things to come. What are the things that Jacob and Esau were blessed in? Jacob was blessed to get the everlasting covenant by the Most High, be his people. Esau was blessed to conquer by the sword, and that his due should be the fatness of the earth. Are we not seeing that play out in the earth today? That Esau is fully living according to his blessing in representing the daughter of the Chaldees, which in ancient Babylon, the Medes were used to overthrow them. History is repeating itself. What has been shall be. Did you grab it up yet, brother?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's on the screen, no?
Okay, I couldn't see it. I was running my mouth. All right.
Okay. No, bro.
Grab
All
them.
good. Good word, man. Good word. So
Hey,
we got First Ezra
yeah,
chapter
first
4,
Ezra 4:45.
verse 45. Okay, I'm gonna scroll down to 45. You want me to read just 45 or shall I read more?
Now you can read just 45. Just to make the point, because we want to jump to Jeremiah.
All right. Thou also hast vowed to build up the temple which the Edomites burned when Judea was made desolate by the Chaldees.
When Edom, it says Edom burned the temple, or Edom burned the temple that the Most High, the first temple, when the Chaldees or the Babylonians were there. Now I know in the book of Daniel, we really looking at Babylon as being the one who destroyed the temple and took I forget which Jeconiah I believe Jeconiah into captivity. But inside First Ezra, it says that Edom actually was the conduit to burn the temple. They took and burned the temple. So, brother, go grab up Psalms 137, 7-9. Now, Edom is actually the ones who burned the temple. And why is this important to what we're looking at today? Because right now, no matter how Esau hides himself in the earth, and I believe inside the book, I think in Jeremiah, matter of fact, Isaiah, I believe 47, it's so he should no longer hide himself. But anyway, no matter how we look at the prophecies in the book regarding Edom, Edom is always attached to these things. He's done a lot of the things in prophecy that we're not looking at him for. Grab that up real quick, brother. You don't mind?
Yep. Got it. Should be on your screen.
All right.
Psalm 137, verse 7-9. Remember, O Most High, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof.
Now stop right there. Raise it, meaning tear it down, tear it down. So when the temple that Solomon built was being destroyed by the Babylonians, we see right here was Edom that was saying, tear it down, tear it down. And we know from First Ezra chapter 4:45 that Edom is actually the one that set the temple on fire. Why is this important? Continue, brother.
O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed, happy shall he be that rewardeth thee as thou hast served us. Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones.
If you look at that last verse when it talks about dashing the little ones against the stone, this is something that if you look at the history on the conquistadors, they would take some of the babies and they would take them by both legs and smash them against the stone to kill the children. But when we talk about Edom has burned the temple and it says, "Oh, daughter of Babylon." So who is the Bible saying is the daughter of Babylon, brother?
The daughter of Babylon is America. That's the United States.
Right. And inside Psalms 137, it lets us know what nation it is.
Absolutely.
So Edom is spoken by word. Why is this important about the Most High's vengeance? Grab up Jeremiah 51:11. Jeremiah 51:11.
Jeremiah 51:11. Can you still see my screen, or is it blank?
It's blank right now.
All right, I'm gonna.
So we'll know who the Most High is about to overthrow, thinking about his temple. Now, mind you, we just talked about how they put their hands on the Most High's temple at every step of the way. When in Babylon, the first temple, under Antiochus Epiphanes, under Pompey, in Rome in 70 AD, all Esau was the one who carried away the Most High's holy things of the temple. Read that, please, brother.
Make bright the arrows, gather the shields. The Most High has raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes. For his device is against Babylon to destroy it, because it is the vengeance of the Most High, the vengeance of his temple.
The vengeance of his temple. We just proved that spiritually, physically, the nation that we see is Babylon. But physically and spiritually, when it comes to the daughter of the Chaldees, we talk about the daughter of Babylon. It was Esau all the way. It was Edom. It was Edom that the Most High is going to get vengeance for his temple. Edom set it on fire. Edom said, tear it down. Edom committed the abomination that maketh desolate under General Pompey when he went in the Holy of Holies. Edom is the reason why the temple had to be rededicated during the time of the Maccabees, which under Antiochus Epiphanes, he committed those abominations against our people. Under Roman curators and Roman Caesars, in 70 AD, the temple was taken down brick by brick and all the holy things taken into the nations of the Edomites. The Most High vengeance is against them for the vengeance of his temple. As far as ancient Babylon goes, Iraq is nothing in the earth if we wanted to attach it to them. So we know these prophecies are not talking about them. And the Most High have made them stupid. He has made them to depend on their weaponry. But they have miscalculated their might. Brother, grab up Jeremiah 49 and just read 7 and 8.
All right, give me 1 second. Jeremiah 49, 7 and 8.
7 and 8.
All right. I'm going to share my screen again.
Because it was not wise. And when we look at these Israeli people, they are Edomites. I don't care how you dress up the nation. When you go to Australia, they're Edomites. You can call them Australians if you want to. When you go to Great Britain, they're Edomites. You can call them Britons if you want to. When you go to Spain, they're Edomites. You can call them Spaniards if you want to. You know. Everywhere you go to Canada, you can call them Canadians, but they are Edomites that's living in Canada. Everywhere they go, no matter what landmass they're on, mostly chiefly that they pursued us to them lands and taking it for themselves. But they're Edomites. I don't care what name they call themselves. Go ahead, brother.
All right. Concerning Edom, thus said the Most High of hosts, is wisdom no more in Teman? Is counsel perished from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanished? Flee ye, turn back, dwell deep, O inhabitants of Dedan, for I will bring the calamity of Esau upon him, the time that I will visit him.
Esau is no more wisdom in Esau. Esau thought it was a good idea being but two nations to decide to start a fight with the Medes or the Iranians, given that Iran has the backing of Russia, has the backing of China, has the backing of the UAE, has the backing of its BRICS coalition, has the backing of everybody from the Palestinians all the way up through Damascus to Iraq. He has the backing of all of the Middle East, chiefly because they all hate America. They all hate the modern state of Israel. They know they don't belong there. Their wisdom failed them when they started to make these military advances. The smallest Israel is that they got to depend on America. Their wisdom failed them that they decide to attack a nation that has that much military connection or ally, especially considering Bible prophecy, that now you have the United States and Israel, so-called Israel, against the world. Their wisdom failed them. Brother, grab up Isaiah 47 and let's read to, matter of fact, let's read to verse 4. Because we can, matter of fact, read to verse 5.
Isaiah 47.
Yeah, verse 1 to 5. Because we end up reading the whole chapter, like everything is pertains to it. So just read the verse 5.
All right. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne or daughter of the Chaldeans, but thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate.
Tender and delicate. Remember that. Go ahead.
Take the millstones and grind meal, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance and I will not meet thee as a man. As for our Redeemer, the Most High of hosts is his name, the Holy One of Israel. Sit thou silent and get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called the Lady of Kingdoms.
Now, the
Shall I
Lady of
continue?
Kingdom, you
Oh,
think
go.
about the no, that's good. Then you think about the Lady of Kingdom, you talk about somebody tender and delicate, beautiful. Give me Isaiah 13:19. You'll know exactly what it's talking about. Is it talking about America? Is it talking about Edom? I think we established already, but just to show that this is talking about them, just as further precept. Yeah, Isaiah 13:19.
Isaiah 13:19. 1 second here. Here we go. Isaiah 13, verse 19. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees, excellency, shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah.
Same way we read inside Revelations. It says they are the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency. They're the beauty of Babylon's excellency. They are the daughter of Babylon. They're as pretty as their mother. The daughter or the mother of that or Babylon. This is the daughter of Babylon, which many precepts to establish that truth. I'm going to say as a claim, but that truth that this is the beauty of the Chaldeans' excellency, Babylon, America, the Edomite nations. That the Most High has moved it, took away wisdom out of their land, and moved them to start a war that can be the last war that this earth has ever seen. We're talking about this BRICS correlation. We're talking about a united Arab or a united Middle East against American Israel. Now the gloves is off. Now it's started. You think the United States is going to stop? You think Israel is going to stop? You think they're just going to leave it at that they fired anything at the state of Israel? It was a video I saw once regarding Netanyahu and about the former prime minister of Israel. And this former prime minister told Netanyahu that he would be the last prime minister before their Messiah would come. And that even though that prophecy actually failed because Netanyahu lost the prime ministership and he actually won it back, I believe, in 2012 or 2009. But everything that Netanyahu is doing is to move towards the end, to move towards Bible prophecy. He's trying to move towards bringing their so-called Jewish Messiah back. Now, we know there's one Mashiach, Yeshua HaMashiach, the one who died for our sins, the Son of the Most High, our King, our Shepherd, the one who's to rule the earth for 1,000 years. We know that the Mashiach has come back, from which we believe in faith and hope. We know these things are of a truth. But because they're trying to push for a whole nother realm of prophecy, the same way the Christians are. The Christians got their own prophecies that they're trying to push for, that they believe is happening. You got one Christian talking about the rapture's happening in 90 days. Yeah, good luck with that. Good luck with that. I suggest you don't sell anything in hopes of that. And if you're going to give something away, give your wealth away to us. So you have the Christians with their own set of prophecies and beliefs. You got the Jewish people with their own sets of prophecy and beliefs. Peace and blessings to our elder brother Cleo, brother Banya. Everybody's running around with these beliefs, but they're not set upon the foundation of the manuscript. They're running around with their own man, and they're pushing it forward. So we ask the question: is it the start of World War III? Whether accelerated or decelerated, the steps or the door has been opened and it won't be shut. And if we hear peace, peace now, then it's time to start looking up more frequently. We see peace, peace now, we know that our redemption draws near. And there's a lot of things that have to play out. There's a lot of things that have to happen. And don't be surprised if we see these things play out on the streets of this country. We said it before, and we spoke about this for a long time now about the tensions between Iran and Israel, and that these people are bloodthirsty. You want to talk about vampires? We talk about they bloodthirsty. Never mind they sexual appetites, which is all over TV, man, the homosexuality, all this craziness going on. But these people are bloodthirsty for death and destruction, for power, for money. This stuff is at the culmination of the times, and we believe that things are only going to intensify because now Israel, all is well, all praise be to the Most High, Brother Cleo. We know that we should be looking at these things intently, what's happening right now, because Israel has to respond. They're going to respond in some way. We don't think cooler heads prevail when it comes to these nations. Go ahead, brother. You was going to say something?
Oh no, I was just thinking something we were talking about earlier when the Most High through Moses led the people out of Egypt and into the wilderness. One of the calls that went along with "Let us go" was so that my people can worship me in the wilderness. And I remember when we were talking about that, and one thing that I said is it's so hard for us to keep, or it's a challenge. Let me say, not hard for us, but it's such a challenge to keep the Most High's commandments fully in this in this nation and the nations throughout the world where we're scattered, because everything is against us in terms of pulling us away from what the Most High has led us to be. We are His people. We should be following His commandments. But it gives me more hope. It makes me happy to know that the Most High's word is true. And like we saw with the eclipse, which I truly believe was a sign from the Most High, it was a sign from the Most High for the ending of our captivity. It's a sign from the Most High to let us know that His word is true and that these things are ramping up in the world. And as we see Iran start to and Israel start to combat each other even more, and we see the players in this like the United States and Russia, we see them start to get involved more and more. We know that with this ramping up, our deliverance is getting closer and closer and closer. And all praises be to the Most High for that. We got to continue this word that we've been shelling out to our people for a really long time now. Let us go. Let us go. We got to continue that. That has to be our speech. That has to be our prayer. Let us go. It is what the Most High is pushing us to do right now, to continue to be prayerful to Him so that we can move to the next stage in our deliverance.
And I agree with you 100%, brother. And I want to say to the people, don't be deceived, because in heightened situations, everybody wants to feel comfortable again. You got to remember, our salvation is not in comfortabilities, not in delicacies. I was sitting there having a conversation. I know some people might look at this a certain type of way. When we left Egypt, our people were saying, "Oh, remember the watermelons we had there. Remember the food we had." Now, mind you, we in slavery, we in bondage, and our people are saying, "Remember these things." And for some reason, it reminded me of the garden, because a lot of our comfortabilities is predicated on us trying to make things right for our women. And you could just imagine our brothers coming home and or coming going to their tents, and the wives saying, "Hey, well, we thirsty, we hungry," and the brothers went out. Now, mind you, I'm not just putting it on the sisters, but just look at today's climate. Everything. If you go into one of the great parable, I believe in First Ezra chapter 4, where they're talking about what's stronger on the earth, and then I believe Zerubbabel. Not for nothing, if you go into the understanding of Zerubbabel, I believe in Haggai. Zerubbabel literally means the return from Babylon. Like spiritually, we are Zerubbabel. We are to be the return from Babylon. More of a spiritual implication of our time now than it was then. Spiritually, for us, when we talk about the temple being built forever, that we represent Zerubbabel, the return from Babylon, prophetically. But anyway, it talked about how a man goes out, how a man, even a king, goes out to make money, and he does that to put it at his woman's feet. And I fast forward to this day. A man may think, and a man may be able to take anything. He may be able to eat beans out of a can. He may take a piece of bread, ball it up into one little ball. I don't know if anybody was ever that poor they had to do that. Ball up a piece of bread and eat it that way to fill his hunger if he doesn't have food. But his weakness is providing for his lady. His weakness is providing those delicacies for his children, those comfortabilities. And that's what we're going to be looking at again now. A lot of the things that are going to be hard on the earth, one may feel like he can move like that by himself. But a lot of us is not going to want those things to happen because we know you're going to hear your woman inside your voice. Inside your ear. Don't want these things to happen. Not all sisters. I'm not saying it like that. I'm talking about in the spiritual context. That how this situation that we're used to, we'll want to stay in it. Not understanding that us being uncomfortable is leading to our deliverance, that the destabilization of the nations is to the stabilization of our nation, to the actual coming together of our nation. Matter of fact, brother, I'm gonna grab up let's grab up Jeremiah 49 again, and let's just read down from verse 8, if I'm not mistaken.
Jeremiah 49,
yeah, I think
verse
we read
8.
I think we read 7 and 8. Let's read down from 9 to 22. I think let's read all that. Let's read all that.
All right. If
You
the
want me to
great
read?
ga-
Go ahead,
I'm
bro.
sorry. Go ahead, bro.
No, go ahead.
Okay. If the great gatherers come to thee, would they not leave some gleaning grapes? If thieves by night, they will destroy till they have enough.
Esau takes everything and leave you nothing. You know that just by working in this country. Good.
Mhm. But I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not.
Now stop right there. He says, I have uncovered his secret places. If you go to Psalms, they're talking about how they name their lands after their names. Hence Amerigo Vespucci, hence Africa, Leo Africanus. They always, and we got that from them name, like a lot of our people would name, or anciently, they would name the lands after their names. But it says, I have uncovered his secret places. We talked about the Canadians, that's Esau. We talk about Australia, that's Esau. We talk about Europe, that's Esau. All these different places that they are, the Most High said, I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. For the longest time, even to this day, you have a lot of people that would dispute with us who Esau is. Literally to this day, people are still disputing, well, who's Esau? Is he even in the earth anymore? Oh, he ain't the Gentiles. Even to this day, he's hidden to those who walk without knowledge. But to those with knowledge, he's apparently seen. Go ahead, brother.
Leave thy fatherless children. I will preserve them alive, and let thy widows trust in me.
This is a foreshadow for Esau. It says, leave thy fatherless children. One take on leaving fatherless children is that you won't take hold on your own posterity. Esau is not who he is in the Bible. He's everybody but that. He has made himself a bastard in the earth. Esau is called the house of bondage. He's called Egypt in the Bible. He's called Sodom in the Bible. He's called Babylon in the Bible. He's named after other people's posterity, other people's inheritance. Why is that? Most High says he's hidden in the earth. Only people that have a right to the earth is those who can trace their lines to their fathers, because the fathers give the inheritance. But it says, leave thy fatherless children, preserve them alive, and let thy widows trust in me. Go ahead, bro.
For thus said the Most High, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup has assuredly drunken. And art thou he that shall altogether go unpunished? Thou shalt not go unpunished, but thou shalt surely drink of it.
Now, when we go back to what Lamentations, I believe, like now the cup is passed from us to Esau, the cup of captivity, the cup of loss of children, the cup of loss of life has been passed from us to Esau. Now the cup that we drunk from because of our sin against the Most High, now he shall drink of that cup double, because he have touched the apple of the Most High's eye. As a matter of fact, if you grab up Lamentations 4:21, real quick,
Lamentations 4:21.
then we're gonna come back. We're gonna come back to where we were at.
I knew where you were going, bro.
All right, good, bro.
You probably can't see it on my screen, but I'm gonna just read it out.
Okay.
Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom.
Rejoice and be glad. You drinking that cup? Go ahead.
That dwelleth in the land of Uz. The cup also shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken and shall make thyself naked.
Matter of fact, read the next word. Finish it out. Might as well.
The punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. He will no more carry thee away into captivity. He will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sins.
What does it say in Jeremiah? He's already uncovered it. The cup that we had to drink from, now he'll drink from it double. The cup where we had to pay 7 times for our sins, he get to do 2 times 7 times, which is 14. He will go double times 7. Everything we experience, he will experience. You read the prophecies and Numbers talking about his women and his children being taken into captivity, his inheritance being rooted out of the earth. He will experience what we experience. Some people say, oh, we don't want that to happen. So what, you going to stand against the Most High? You're going to stand against the judgment that the Most High has given for those who have touched you? You don't get to tell the Most High what he ought to do about those who have touched his children. You don't get to tell the Most High what you think should be done to those who touched you. You're not your own. The church will have you believe this is not right. They have you not to believe that our enemies shouldn't receive what they have done in the earth, particularly to us, to the Most High's people. The one true God, you say, I'm going to touch his people? Continue, brother. Matter of fact, I said, jump back to Jeremiah 49.
So I'm left off at verse 12. I'm going to start at verse 13. Right. For I have sworn by myself, said the Most High, that Basra shall become a desolation, a reproach, a waste, and a curse, and all the cities thereof shall be perpetual waste. I've heard a rumor from the Most High, and an ambassador is sent unto the heathen, saying, gather ye together against her, and rise up to the battle. For lo, I will make thee small among the heathen, and despised among men. Thy terribleness hath deceived thee, and the pride of thine heart, O thou that dwelleth in the clefts of the rocks, that holdeth the heights of the hill. Though thou shouldest make thy nest as high as the eagle, I will bring thee down from thence, saith the Most High.
We'll pause right there to read this real quick from Brother Cleo. Let me put it up on the screen. What was it? Here we go. Read that.
All right. Revelation 18, verse 6. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her double according to her works. In the cup which she has filled, fill her double.
All praise the Most High. Good looking, brother. All praise the Most High.
All right, good script. I'm going to read verse 17, and I believe that's where we were going to stop, correct?
Now we're going to stop at 22.
22, okay. Verse 17. Also Edom shall be a desolation, even one that goeth by it. Everyone that goeth by it shall be astonished, and shall hiss at all the plagues thereof.
Now stop right there, brother. If I know brothers over the years have quoted the Targums on Kilos, and that the Most High said he would plague that fourth nation, which is specifically says Edom, I believe, in the Jerusalem Targums, with 250 plagues. Continue, bro.
As in the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah, and the neighbor cities thereof, saith the Most High, no man shall abide there, neither shall a son of man dwell in it. Behold, he shall come up like a lion from the swelling of Jordan against the habitation of the strong. But I will suddenly make him run away from her. And who is a chosen man that I may appoint over her? For who is like me, and who will appoint me the time? And who is that shepherd that will stand before me?
And we know that's Yeshua HaMashiach. If you go in the book of Isaiah, I believe it's 63, where it says, "Who is this coming from Basra, whose vesture looked like he treaded the wine fat?" He said in his anger, he treaded the wine, he treaded them alone. Continue, bro.
Therefore, hear the counsel of the Most High that he has taken against Edom, and his purposes that he has purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with
If you
them.
go into Matthew, it's about Jephthah, Judah being the least among the flock. So that's a prophecy connected to the Mashiach. If you go into the book of Matthew, continue, brother. I think, as a matter of fact, and that also connects to, I believe, Isaiah chapter 9. I think it goes with Matthew, but continue, brother.
The earth is moved at the noise of their fall.
Sorry, brother. Isaiah chapter 11, rather. Go ahead, but we'll continue.
Oh, did you want me to go over to Isaiah chapter?
Nah, I was just making sure I corrected that. It wasn't 9.
Oh, gotcha. All right, I'll start verse 21 over. The earth is moved at the noise of their fall. At the cry, the noise thereof was heard in the Red Sea.
The noise of their fall, we remember how it talks about the nations mourned in Revelations, when they seen the whore was burnt with fire. Continue.
Mhm. Behold, he shall come up and fly as the eagle, and spread his wings over Basra. And at that day shall the heart of the mighty men of Edom be as the heart of a woman in her pangs.
And if you go in the second Ezra, they talk about all the nations were afraid to fight against the man that came out of the sea, who came up on Mount Zion. Now, all the precepts go together. All the precepts is there on that subject. Matter of fact, brother, grab up Psalm 75 and 8, brother Cleo posted.
Psalm 75 and 8. Give me 2 seconds.
So it's clear who the daughter of Babylon is. It's clear who the daughter of the Chaldees is, or the beauty of their excellency. It's clear who it is and who it is today. And we're watching that the Most High is taking the wisdom out of Basra. He's taking the wisdom out of Edom. That now they feel like they could take on the world. Not only that their pride is lifted up, that they feel like they can attack anybody at any time and do whatever they want, and then nothing's supposed to touch them. Now you have Iran, as we showed in the video, talking about, the United States will not escape this fire if they continue to support the genocide in Palestine, which we know that they are. Go ahead, bro.
For in the hand of the Most High there is a cup, and the wine is red. It is full of mixture, and he poureth out of the same. But the dregs thereof, all the wicked of the earth shall wring them out and drink them.
The residents shall bring them out and drink them. The Most High, if you look in when it talks about the Mashiach's eyes was red with wine, and then in another precept talking with fury, that the Mashiach is going to pour out that righteous indignation to overthrow these nations. The cup, and you remember how his disciples asked him about, and he said, could you drink from the cup that he drinks from? Now, what they're going to drink from now is the same thing that we had to drink from. The Most High's anger, the Most High's vengeance is going to come upon them. They're going to see all the things. Matter of fact, grab up Isaiah 14, 1 and 2 real quick. And then grab up Revelations, I believe, 12 and 13. Isaiah.
What was that? Isaiah
14, 1 and 2. All the things that happen to us, they're going to drink of. And it's going to happen double. But you got to remember, Leviticus, the 26th chapter. Most High judged us 7 times for our sins. So Esau will know what that's like double, 2 times 7. And you've seen what we went through. You've seen how we've been killed and how the oppressions that happen, how the things that happened to us when the Most High was angry with us. Esau will have double what happened to us. Go ahead.
For the Most High will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob.
Verse 2.
And the people shall take them and bring them to their places, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Most High for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, who captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors.
Now, this, when we rule over our oppressors, this is after they suffer many things by getting pursued in earth. When the hunters shall hunt them and bring them out of the clefts of the rock, when their people is brought to judgment. It's so much that Esau is going to endure in this life and then in the judgment to come. So we go back to our present question. Brother, did you want to say anything?
Oh no, you would ask me one more script, bro. You'd
Oh,
ask
yeah,
me to
yeah.
pull up
Go up to
Revelation
12 and 13, I believe it is.
Revelation 12. Okay. All right, the way this is working, I got to stop sharing and then share again for you to see what I changed to. So
In fact, I
just give
think
me
it's 13 and 12. I think it might be 13 and 12. Matter of fact, 13 and 10, rather. My bad.
13 and 10. No
13 and 10.
problem, no problem. All right, verse 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints.
And one of the main prophecies regarding Esau is that he shall live by the sword. Now, his blessing now would be that he shall be killed by the sword. He should be pursued by the sword. Everything is done. He that led into captivity should go into captivity. He's the one who's killed with the sword. To get every land that he's gotten, he has gotten it with the sword. And if you go into any of the history, we actually, our people, Israelites and the Moors, ran Sicily, ran the UK, the nobles of Europe. We were in Australia. We were in all these places that Esau came along and usurped us with the sword. Everywhere we were, he pursued us and then took the noble titles that we had. No different than a recent report that I saw about Sierra Leone. I believe it was Sierra Leone, if I'm not mistaken, is talking about how they got over $150 million in resources or minerals, but they only get about 10,000. I think, matter of fact, it might have been South Africa. It was something about 150 million in
No,
so-called.
bro. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was sorry to cut you off. It was Sierra Leone, and I
Sierra Leone?
believe it was the president. I don't believe they're called presidents. I believe they're called prime ministers. His wife was doing an interview. Yeah, she mentioned that they only get about 0.1% of their wealth and their resources back at them because they're being robbed by countries like the United States and China. Yeah. No, it's Sierra Leone, I believe.
Right. And it goes into what we were talking about when we brought up Haiti and the uridium. That Haiti has billions of dollars in a precious metal, and they receive none of it due to paying reparations to the French government, to the destabilization military methods and coups that America has caused on that country, on our brothers, to destabilize that nation. They can't even. They have one of the best resources on the planet that supposedly can has a high heat resistance to almost any temperature. Now I can get into the backstory on it, but that's where you get your story in Black Panther. But they can't even profit from. You talk about billions of dollars per ton for this, and they have mountains of it. But yet they're the poorest on the earth to the point now that they're completely destabilized, completely, no government, and overthrew Haiti due to the president of Haiti wanting $21 billion in reparations, which is lunch money for a lot of the American billionaires. This is money they'll give to Ukraine to buy Happy Meals. This is money that they've given maybe 100 times over to the modern state of Israel for reparations that didn't even come from this country. So it was completely because it was a nation of Israelites or a nation of Black people that they didn't want to have any type of economic power to be in a strategic location where America's enemies, the same way they didn't want us to, the Egyptians didn't want us to side with their enemies when we were in Goshen, which was strategically right on the borders of Egypt. It's the same way that a lot of our brothers that we do acknowledge in the coastal islands of the Caribbean, the same way that they stay in poverty due to the fact that they're worrying about the relationships we have with their enemies. And that because of the conflicts we have now, it's even more important to them that we're not in a strategic advantage to help their enemies. And this goes to why Cuba was always villainized about being communist, but you don't have a problem buying cheap pharmaceutical drugs there and selling them here 100, 1,000 times more than what they are. Sending med students there to get free medical licenses at their university. That's free education to learn to be a doctor. Yeah, no problems with that. But then, for the sake of politics and for sake of villainizing the country, they're communists connected to Russia. But now Russia has already put military vehicles in Cuba. So now the world is now on notice. Everybody's afraid. We're showing certain videos where the whole of the Middle East, and I don't think that those in the Middle East are actually afraid. I think that the ones in America are afraid. I think the ones who don't have a choice but to go along with the fight that's happening, they're afraid because they know that once this stuff kicks off, it doesn't stop. They want the so-called modern state of Israel out the land. Iran want them out of there. The Palestinians want them out of there. Of course, they want things to intensify. This is a way to get them out the land, especially considering when we talked about the Russian icons and Vladimir Putin, that was a political move to say, hey, they're not even the people of the land. No different than what Hitler did when we showed the information in there. First delegitimize. That's America's tactic. First delegitimize, take away your credibility, and then accuse you of something, or then attack. It's no different than the American judicial system. What's the first thing they do when a police officer kills you? I believe in the past he did drugs. I believe in the past he might have spanked this kid. I believe in the past he didn't vote. The first thing that happens is to delegitimize you, or to take away your character, or to attack your character. It's no different than the tactic that Russia pulled, being a distant relative to these Caucasoids or to Esau. No different. BRICS, brother. BRICS is a conglomerate of nations, with Iran, Saudi Arabia, Russia, China, and what they are is a group, and they started a currency to get away from the dollar, which, like we said before, brother. Matter of fact, go ahead and read that to us.
Yeah, where can I start? The BRICS group of emerging economies. But I don't think that gives an actual
We'll give the short
definition.
answer.
Yeah.
These nations have come together and they have started a new currency backed by gold. And a lot of the tensions over in the Middle East right now is based off the fact that now that devalues the dollar, that the dollar will no longer be the international currency. And what that does, that affects the stock market, that affects the economy, that affects everything that goes on in this country, and also in Israel, which is balanced by the same system of international bankers. So yeah, now would be time to go to war in a situation like that. And chiefly, that's what BRICS is. That's one of the main points about them. Of course, they do other things as well, but the reason why it affects us so much and why we're talking about it is because all these people on this list are not allies to the United States, and they're strengthening their relationships with those in the Middle East. As you can see, Iran and Saudi Arabia is on this list, and that makes for a bad situation in the earth. The brother just put the link out there. If anybody wants to click on the link to get a better understanding what BRICS is, Brother Cleo stated the Clintons got rich off the last major earthquake in Haiti. Haiti is rich in minerals and resources, no doubt. And that's why we brought up the iridium, how valuable it is, and that Haiti has not profited from it. Imagine if you have land and you got oil on your land, and the oil's there, and you can't make any money off of it, and you're running around eating beans and bread, but yet you got all this oil on your property. And that's the tantamount to what's going on in Haiti. They have a land that has one of the most precious natural resources on it, in this iridium, which was mimicked in the movie Black Panther. And you've seen how their technological advancements and military might increase, and how they were viewed on the earth in the movie, if you want to use that as a parallel. And Haiti has no ability to use its own. Similar to what we brought up about Saudi Arabia, Sierra Leone and their resources, So all these things happening in Iran, with Iran and Israel right now, is that when will Israel respond, if they will? And I'm telling you, this is real crucial right now, because both of them wanted this to happen, particularly Israel. And because the United States is going into economic collapse, it behooves them to continue on, even to the destruction of the earth. That's why the Most High shortened the times. Man, these people is worrying about power and posture and money. They don't care what lives get lost. Joe Biden, man, he's not touched. It's like if you see the movie Troy, when the dude Achilles said to Agamemnon, he said, wouldn't it be a sight if kings fought their own wars? Biden ain't got to see none. His children don't got to see none of that. So he sends so-called American citizens to their doom to fight for causes that they may not even believe in. And this is what's happening now. And you got to know this is a scary moment for those who should be scared. That the only two nations together is against all the other superpowers. If you looked at the BRICS, India is a superpower. They're a nuclear superpower. They're not like just, I know people look at India kind of sideways. India has money. India is a wealthy country. China is a superpower. Russia is a superpower. You can't say Israel is a superpower because there might have been a superpowers only because of the United States. And you might say they're one. You can't count them as two. So you got all these other nations that can push the button on a place, man. You talk about swarms. And the United States so-called allies, who are they? We're not even hearing about them anymore. All we hear about is the United States and Israel. A lot of countries is distancing themselves. You ain't hearing the United States being that they can call on this and that like they used to when they was a part of the EU. Brother, you want to say anything to that?
No, bro. I think you basically got it covered. It really is a matter of when. You know what I'm saying? And you mentioned even earlier, if we start seeing peace, or if we start hearing peace, let's say for, I don't think this is going to happen, but let's say for sake of argument that Israel does not respond. Let's say there is no response to this, and as we move forward, we see things starting to move towards what we would call peace. And that scripture, what scripture is that? When you hear peace, I believe it's in Matthew. Mashiach talks about it.
I believe it's Matthew 24. It might be Luke 22. Man, you want me to grab it up?
Yeah. Let's grab that up real quick. When we hear this, peace coming to everything, that's the time to be concerned, because then we know that the Most High is, the last days are coming, and we know that the Most High is starting to ramp things up, and we see these things ramping up. But peace can be a scary word. I'm gonna add my big bro to the stage right now. My man, how you doing, bro?
Hey, Shalom Naji, Shalom Elisha. How you brothers doing today?
Doing well.
Shalom,
Glad you are
shalom,
on, bro. Glad you on. What you got to say for the people, man?
Hey, man, listen, first of all, I want to say shalom to the panel, shalom to my brothers Elisha and Naji. You guys are doing a great show, and I was compelled to jump on. You guys normally know I'd be in the background watching everything. I normally won't jump on, but I just felt compelled to speak on this because this is something that impacts our people. Everything I've been preaching to the panel and to everybody, that everything that happens on the earth is because of the Israelites. It's not because of anything else. So, and that's because the Father's moving these chess pieces around. So I did want to spend a few minutes because I have some notes I was typing up as the show started, even probably about half hour before the show started. So if you guys would indulge me, I'd like to just cover those things, and then I'll probably just jump back off.
Oh, absolutely. You got the mic.
I appreciate it, brother. I appreciate it, bro. Shalom to everybody in the panel. Everybody that bid me shalom, and those that didn't. Appreciate all of you, and hope the Father's been keeping you, and hope you've been well, and hope you have not been operating in fear. This should be a time of rejoicing for you, because if you look at our ancestors that have crossed over on the other side, you look at the book of Revelations, the saints are asking the Father, how long? Why are they asking him how long? And what are they asking? So your family members that crossed over right now, if you have both my parents are on the other side, and they're a part of that contingent that's asking right now, Father, how long before you take vengeance on these entities that hurt our people? So we should be looking forward to, hey, shalom, son of Jacob, peace and blessings to you. We should be looking forward to what the Father is doing because the Father controls both sides. Somebody get the precept where it says he controls good and evil. So he controls us and he controls what goes on around us. So what I want to do is I want to take us on a, I want to kind of add on, if I could. The brothers have done a great job in what they've been doing with this show and what they've been doing with this particular topic. What I want the family to look at is I want them to look at when we say something like world war or war in general, what does that mean and how is that defined? So I'm going to jump on and look at the definition of world war. I'm going to share my screen if I can figure out how to do that. So fam, I've been shalom to everybody. I'm sorry. Shalom to everybody in the panel. Shalom to all of you guys, son of Jacob, everybody. You love Yah, Yakar, Sharadar, Yah, Yasharal, Surprise Ada Judah, all of you that are in the panel. I'm going to share my screen and hopefully I'll get around to it when I stop being lazy, get around to doing another KC at some point because everything on the earth is ramping up. But the first thing I want to do is I want to look at the definition of world war. And so hopefully everybody can see my screen. The definition of world war is a war engaged in by all or most of the principal nations of the world, especially World War, either of these two such wars of the first half of the 20th century. Okay, so you've got this thing called World War. Now, there's something particular, in particular in this is principal nations, okay? So I want to look at what's a principal nation? What does that actually mean? So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and then share my screen again. I should just share that window, but that'll probably make it easier. Let's see here, principal nations, because we have to understand what is a principal nation, all right? So principal nation, or principal countries. Principal countries mean the United States, the United Kingdom, France, Germany, Italy, Japan. And you will notice that it's not necessarily based on GDP. It's not based on anything but what someone has defined as a principal nation. Now, in all reality, all the nations based on the table of nations that the Father gave are nations. So you can discredit these lines that the conquering powers have created on the earth, dividing the nations up, like a classic example, what they did in I believe it's Sierra Leone with the Hutu and the Tutsi, and they divided those people up and had them massacring each other, which some could make the case that those people were possibly Israelites. I can't make that case, but that's a digression on my part. So let's first understand that portion. So now that we have an understanding of what World War is, and Rwanda, thank you, Najee, thank you. I'm getting old, so I'm forgetting. It's funny, as you start getting old, you start forgetting a lot of things, and then you connect things and plug things in that are wrong. But I will say that these nations are on the path of destroying themselves, which I say all praises to the Father too. I'm happy and ecstatic that Iran is going to go at Israel, and that the snakes is going to participate with Israel in doing so. And I'm glad that Russia's going to get it. I'm glad that they're all going to get involved. Why? Because this fulfills what the Father said. And see, you can't get around what he said. If he said something, it's going to happen. And we can't get erase the fact that he said this. You can't work around it. So as America tries to hide her history from the world, because they can't hide our history from us because it's coded in our DNA. Our ancestors lived it. Our ancestors lived that trauma. That trauma has been passed down to you, and it's inside of you. All of the pain and all of the hurt that they went through, but everything that the Father prophesied to you that he said is also in you as well. So you've got this duality. You've got all the trauma and pain, but then you have all the blessings to look forward to. So what should be happening, Israel, is that you should definitely be getting out of the way. But like I said, I'm happy that they're going after each other. I had did a show a while back, and I told you all that Putin knew something. And what you guys are seeing is that the Ukraine is one of their homes, and I'm talking about Ashkenaz, you know, and what you call that, Amalek and them, Esau and them, all of those characters, well, however they want to call themselves, whatever they want to call themselves. I told you guys that a while back that Putin knew something, and I've been saying that he knew something. Putin knows something that, and unless the Father give it to the Israelites, the Israelites don't even know. And I firmly believe that. Why? Because he is moving these people around to do our bidding, because we are the only ones that he's been dealing with. So these pieces are being moved around on our behalf. The sacking and the destruction of that phony, false Balfour Declaration entity thing that was crafted and created in the Middle East. You think the Father gonna let that stand? That is not gonna stand. So let me see. I got a couple of you brothers. Mind if I play a couple of videos, because I have some stuff that
rock out, bro. Go for it, man.
Go for everything in your spirit. Go for it.
Okay, I got some videos that dovetails directly into what you guys have been saying. So I'm gonna tee them up. But before I do that, I do want to talk first about the political ties. Now, if you haven't done the research and you don't know, the United States is actually ran and controlled by Israel. Okay, politically, religiously, economically, and what entertainment would be a dovetail of that. So most facets of your life are controlled by Israel. You wouldn't know that unless somebody told you that. So if you look at from a religious perspective, the white evangelicals control religion, which they can have that, and there are 50,000 denominations in Catholicism. But what's not understood is that religion is tied, because of who they interpret the people are. It's tightly coupled with this whole Israeli Jewish thing. And so the United States is tightly coupled with that. From a political standpoint, most people don't know or understand that the lobbyists have a lot of political sway, and they control most of what happens in politics here in the United States. And who controls the lobbyists? The lobbyists are controlled and paid and bought for and paid off and bought off by none other than the Israeli government. Okay, so when you talk about politics in the United States, if you are not saying, matter of fact, before you get elected, you have to be blessed by Israel. And what Israel will do is they'll fund your campaign. And not only will they fund your campaign, they'll ensure that you win as long as you support the nation Israel. If you don't support the nation of Israel, here's what will happen to you. Or if you speak against the nation of Israel, here's what will happen to you. They have an organization called AIPAC. And it doesn't matter what your political affiliation is. You could be a Republican or you could be a Democrat. AIPAC is one of their, and they have many organizations. They're very well funded by themselves and by your tax dollars, by the way. So they're very well funded. But I'm going to share my screen and show you what AIPAC is up to right now. When you ask the question, and you need to ask yourself the question, what does this mean to me? Okay. We know that we're not part of the Republican Democrat paradigm, but look at what AIPAC is doing. AIPAC targets Black Democrats while the Congressional Black Caucus stays silent. Why is the Congressional Black Talkers staying silent? Because that's what they are. They're a bunch of talkers, but they're not a bunch of talkers. The Talented Tenth and the Boule are doing exactly what they were put on this earth here to do. And if any of you are still in these sororities and fraternities, and you're talking about you're an Israelite, then you need to get out of that. But check this out right here. AIPAC has given at least $3.6 million to the CBC's old guard since last year, while members of the squad draws the Israel lobby's ire, which means that they're drawing the hate. So they are actually targeting and going after these political individuals and funding the opposition so that they can lose, basically, because these people are not in the pockets of the Israelites and not the Israelites, the Israeli lobby. Okay, so I'm setting the stage for you now. So we look at the United States and we try to understand, and we're understanding now the religious, political, economics. Who controls your entertainment? If Kyrie Irving says he's an Israelite, everybody's going to jump out the window and tell him to apologize, or he won't have a job, or he's going to get demoted from playing hoop, doing something that he loves. Why is that? Because they have not only economic sway, they have political sway and economic sway. Look at the rap industry. Look at hip hop. What you guys call hip hop, old heads just call rap. So I apologize for that. Look at the rap game. Who controlled that? Who controlled that you could not put out music that was uplifting with uplifting frequencies to our people, and yet you can glorify killing yourself, and we'll put on brothers that do these sexual deviant acts, like the sexual deviant P. Diddy and all the other sexual deviants in Hollywood, because he's not the only one. They all, if you popular and you high up in entertainment industry, guess what? 99.9% of the chance you're a sexual deviant. And not only that, but you pimping yourself out and pandering just so that you can get money. The entertainment, who runs the entertainment industry? These people got sway over the whole earth. Let's not get it twisted. So now you have to ask yourself, I got another few videos to play, but now you have to ask yourself, what does this mean to me? Keep asking yourself that as keep letting it percolate in your mind. What does this mean to the whole house of Israel? As we go through these videos and as these brothers have these conversations, because everything should ultimately reflect back on you and how you're living. And I'm gonna address the how you're living in a few minutes, because what we should be doing should be pretty clear. I'm gonna queue up some videos that, like I said, I was dialed into, and I would say that don't let your sources be just CNN. Go out and look at all of the sources that are on the YouTube. Everybody's broadcasting. There were over 300 things shot at that Balfour Declared entity known as the State of Israel. Over 300. Now, Elisha, you love boxing. When a boxer boxes, what do? They don't just go in and try to take the dude out. What do? They come in, throw a few shots, and do a little bit of this and that. But Iran did this as a opening salvo test. They did not let out everything, but the American media and the Western media is making it seem like that it was a great success. However, there are reports that the airplanes that bombed that Syrian embassy, the base that came from, that missiles have hit that base and destroyed that base. We're getting all kinds of mixed media, but what I would recommend is that people, if you're taking information from different sources, because they're going to paint this out as being something that was a grand success for the Israeli, and that's not necessarily the case. So I got a video queued up. I'm going to go ahead and play that. So just give me a chance to get it locked and loaded. The 1948, yep. 1948, yep. 1948. Wicked as hell. All you've been doing is causing mayhem on the earth. Mayhem, but you're doing what you're put here to do. And see, that's what we need to not be mad at these people. These people are doing what they've been put here to do. and why they're on the earth. So let me share. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I'm going to share my screen again, and then I'm going to make sure I have the buttons clicked that I should have clicked, right? Also, okay, so it's automatic now. See how long I've been out the game for a minute. They've changed how you do this here. Okay, so everybody can see my screen. Let me know if you can hear the audio.
And 110 ballistic missiles.
Yeah, we can hear it, bro.
Yeah, from Iraq and from
okay,
Yemen.
how come I can't hear it?
But Israel was ready for it. You see, this was a widely expected attack.
But take a look at.
I
want you guys to look at something because you guys brought to bear, and I want to go through it right quick. You guys brought to bear the allies and whatnot. Those missiles were not just coming from Iran.
The U.S. oil firm.
Those missiles were coming from a bunch of different places that surround so-called
I guess the obvious question
Israeli.
is how? It was a joint effort by Israel's allies, especially the US and the UK. Both countries experienced that.
Try to see if I can get through this right quick. Yeah, let's watch a little bit of this. If you guys can hear it, let me know. I can't hear it, but that's
something
okay.
will happen.
Yeah, we can hear it.
Okay, cool. Do I need to turn it up or is it good volume?
Most of last week, the Iranian military was poised to strike them, but no one knew when. Well, late last night, it happened. Hundreds of projectiles were fired towards Israel. We're talking about a cocktail of weapons. Israel counted more than 300 of them. 170 drones, 30 cruise missiles, and 110 ballistic missiles. They were fired from different locations, from Iran, from Syria, from Iraq, and from Yemen. But Israel was ready for it. You see, this was a widely expected attack, a tit-for-tat response. Last week, Israel had struck
Iran's embassy in Syria. So did you guys see those nations that were surrounded there?
They ended up killing top Iranian
commanders. Yeah, bro, you can pause it for a second.
Which is why Israel and its allies were ready. They say,
go ahead, Brock.
They did name the nations. When you saw that map where they had some of the nations around Iran kind of colored, they named the nations where all the attacks were coming from. I believe there were 5 different nations. So that I think if you go backwards, it'll show that because I know you can't hear it. That colored map. Those are the, I believe it was 5. Those are the nations where they said the attacks were coming from.
Are any of those Yemen? I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead. Because the point you're about to make is valid. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, are any of those nations part of the UAE?
Good question.
No, that's a good question. Let me go. I went back and hopefully we could see the map again.
Well, now
I can't hear.
Well, now we can't hear it either.
Cruise missiles and 110.
Oh, now we can hear it. We can hear
from different locations, from Iran, from Syria, from Iraq, and from.
There we go.
Okay, so obviously Iran, Syria, Iraq, and Yemen. So the only one would be Iran. But the fact that you've got a nation in Iraq that was at war with Iran, you heard those saying, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, throwing salvos. You've got Syria throwing salvos, and you've got salvos coming from way down here being thrown over Saudi Arabia, which is a sovereign nation, which in theory would violate their airspace and their sovereignty, dropping on Israel as well. So whatever I wanted to illustrate this. I want us to keep watching this video because there are other points in this video that I want the family to see. Don't buy the idea of what the media says is reality, because the media hasn't told you anything about that airfield that was hit. I think it's I can't pronounce it. It starts with an N.
Yemen.
But let's go ahead and continue to watch.
This was a widely expected attack, a tit-for-tat response. Last week, Israel had struck Iran's embassy in Syria. They ended up killing top Iranian commanders.
That doesn't impact
Iran was always going to respond, which is why Israel and its allies were ready. They say around 99% of the projectiles were shot down, some over the Iraqi and Syrian airspace, the rest over Israel. It filled the night sky with explosions. Take a look.
Imagine if you live somewhere and all of a sudden, and we haven't had the chance to see this in our lifetime, but our family did. Just imagine that this is happening in a nation where you live, where millions of rockets and things have been fired at you.
Now, 300
and
is a big
mind
number,
you that
but these drones and missiles caused very little damage. Around 12 people.
they didn't use the war. They didn't use the. Iran has not played their full deck, and this is what the media is not telling you. Iran sent over $25,000 drones, 25,000 for a nation with a high GDP, and the U.S. is spending, what is it, $25 million rockets to shoot these drones down. There's a disparity there. The fact that you can manufacture something that will take away from your resources, and that's what's happening. That's what's not being said, is that Iron Dome and the Israeli defenses are going to be depleted because they're firing. And a matter of fact, they're not even firing at the best of the best technology. I want to finish playing this video though.
People were injured and one girl was killed. Plus, a military base in southern Israel was slightly damaged. I guess the obvious question is how? It was a joint effort by Israel's allies, especially the US and the UK. Both countries had moved important assets to the region, the US and the UK. So when Iran attacked, they were ready. Fighter jets took off from undisclosed bases in the region. They shot down most of the drones before they reached the target. Even Jordan took down a few projectiles. Of course, some did make it to Israel, but those were shot down by the air defense system. And there are many layers to it. But this time, two of them were key. The Arrow system, which shoots down long-range missiles, and the Iron Dome, which shoots down short-range rockets. Both use the same concept. Track a projectile, fire ammunition at it, and blow it up in the sky. It's costly, but clearly effective. But good defense was not the only reason for the limited damage. Iran's attack was half-hearted. They wanted to create a spectacle. They wanted to appease their domestic audience. But damage perhaps was not their goal. Iran's foreign minister has admitted this. He says Tehran had informed the US about the nature of its attacks.
We announced to the White House in a message this morning that our operations will be limited and minimal, with the aim of legitimate defense and punishment of the Israeli regime.
Which brings us to the reactions. The world is understandably worried.
Did you guys catch what he said?
Yeah. We caught what he said. Yeah, we caught what he said about the purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, but here's the crazy part. I don't know if he said this or not. He said that they told the U.S. what they were going to do.
Yeah, he did.
Okay, so if you were really going to be cold about it, why would you tell the enemy, your enemy, that, hey, we're about to do this, but we're about to do this not with our tight stuff. It's just like, okay, we got Michael Jordan sitting on the bench, but we're gonna leave Michael Jordan sitting on the bench and we're gonna play his son, and we're gonna let his son get at you.
Absolutely.
And then when the son rock you to sleep, then we're gonna put in Michael Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not gonna tell you when we're gonna put him in, but we're gonna put him in later. They didn't and see, the media will paint a picture. They didn't even send their best out to get at Israel. They just did this. Hey, we tired of y'all killing our people. We tired of y'all killed our scientists. We still got nukes anyway, but y'all killed our scientists. You know Iran has nukes. Anybody believe Iran don't got nukes is out of their mind. Iran got nukes. Okay, so we just showed y'all what we capable of. We can overwhelm Iron Dome, have Iron Dome busy, because y'all already operating on the front in Gaza that y'all can't even handle. They can't even handle Gaza, little Gaza. And the United States is already involved because the United States was shooting down the drones, wasting their resources, dummies. And I say the United States because I'm not a part of that. I'm not part of the United States. No more than a Chinese man could be an Israelite. Let me see. I want to also get to some parts in this video. Let me see if I could. Oh, here it is coming up. It's right about here. I'm going to keep playing. Listen to you brothers touched on it, but listen to the response of the people now because of this happened. And I'm talking about the people in Iran.
Because damage or not, this attack is unprecedented. In the past, Iran has used proxies to strike Israel, like Hezbollah and Hamas. They've never used their own military. This is the first direct Iranian attack on Israel, which makes it very significant. That was also the that was also in fact reflected in the ground reactions. Iranians were over the moon. They took out bike rallies and marches in Tehran, and they called it a proud and happy moment.
We hope this attack continues to the point that Israel is destroyed.
And they have fireworks, man.
We will never allow anyone to violate Iranian territory. Any enemy contemplating aggression against Iran will meet the same fate as Israel.
Now, what has happened is you've got the whole of the Arab world, whether they say it in front of your face or not, they're galvanized against Israel and they're galvanized against the United Snakes of America. Now, when I say the United Snakes of America, Israelites, don't get it twisted. Even though you joined the military, even though you fought in their wars, you are not an American. You never were, and you never have been, nor will you ever will be. I've said it to you all many times before. The red, white, and blue, the red on one side, Republicans, Democrats on the one side, blue Democrats, and the white stands for white people. Show me where the Israelites fit into that paradigm. You don't. I already answered the question. You don't have to answer. So you see how their people were reacting to this, because they're like, man, we tired of these of Esau and them pimping us, when acting like we don't have no spine, just running over us. Everything that they do, nobody responds to them. Nobody can say, oh yeah, the Israelites are wicked as hell. Nobody can say that, because if you say that, you will be labeled as anti-Shemitic, which that's a misnomer in itself. I can say that the Israelites are wicked as hell because I am a Shemite. Matter of fact, I'm an Israelite. I'm not an Israeli liar. Anyway, I think I got one more. I think I have one more video. These will be very, very quick. And this one speaks to what the brother was saying of, are they going to retaliate? And Sky News is a good one for getting some good intel. Actually, I got another one I want to show first before I show that one. There's the one where the guy's speaking. It's on Sky. Give me a second to find that. You brothers got any comments to what you guys just saw?
Yeah.
Before I cue up this next video? Go ahead, bro.
No, I was just gonna say that's a lot of powerful information, particularly like we were talking about with the UAE being some of these vessels for which Iran might use to make a strike. Like it's, we can't discount the importance, like you were saying about how important it is that Iran, even the news anchor said, actually went forth with this strike. I mean, history tells us Iran hasn't struck anybody physically itself in almost 200 years. Like Iran has not been the antagonist of a war or to attack any country in many seasons. You know, we talk about before the Ottomans was running the area. So this information regarding this subject, man, brother, take your time. Like, this is very important, because a lot of our people are not watching what's going on. When the Mashiach say look up, he's saying because you're looking around, you're being aware of what's happening in the earth. You can't hear about wars and rumors of wars if you don't have your ear to the ground. You don't have your ear to what's going on. And a lot of little subtle nuances is being missed with what's going on. Of course, Israel is going to retaliate. They have to. They wanted this war for a long time, mainly because of the economic situation. I know America wants it. They might act like they don't because the citizens don't want it. Like, everybody in America is against it, because considering the financial difficulties, or every time you turn around, the United States government or the government is shutting down, or there's some money problem. The people don't want it, but they definitely want it. And the Most High has had the heart of the so-called Israelis' heart lifted up, because they actually believe that they're going to get their Messiah to come in, and that they're going to rule the earth. They have deceived themselves. Their fathers have told them lies, But I'm really interested to see, and I'm going to have to check on that while when the brother comes back up with the info, to see if the UAE any of those nations were a part of those strikes, because that's real important. There's a lot of money with the UAE, and whether a lot of the other countries in the Middle East mention it out, they're all connected to them. They're all together.
Yeah, I just want to mention before Brother Cleo goes ahead with the video, I'm gonna just share my screen real quick because I thought this was something really interesting that I didn't actually know before. If you look at the countries pretty much surrounding small Israel, really small strip of land right there, but if you look at the countries where the strikes came from, you're talking about a good portion of what they call the Middle East. We know it's Africa, what they call the Middle East, and they're not actually mentioning that strikes came from these countries: Syria, Iraq, Yemen. These aren't being mentioned. We just saw that in the video that Brother Cleo just played, and that's a very interesting thing that you do not see in some of the major news. You just see Iran strike. But if these are coming from these separate areas, that means Iran has partners in these places. And like Brother Cleo just pointed out, that defense system that Israel has to be somewhat weakened. If you're just throwing out a small portion of your strikes against a place that has what they call this Iron Dome protection, you're using up a lot of your artillery to kind of strike down some of those attacks. Well, you're gonna get depleted at some point. So I thought that was very interesting. I thought that was something interesting that I didn't see before. Go ahead, Brother Cliff.
That was a good point to add to that. The depleting of resources. We've seen this recently play out in a war. Recently. And you know what that war was? That was the Russian-Ukraine war. That's still going on right now. What did Russia do? Russia didn't send their elites in at first. They sent newly recruited 19, 20-year-olds to go fight. And then once they've depleted the Ukraine, once the Ukraine was depleted of all of their elders that fought, then Ukraine is down to fighting with women and children now, which they don't tell you about that in the news. Russia did not use their best armament against the Ukraine. And by the way, the Ukraine is one of the homes, Zelensky is a fake Jew, is one of the homes of the fake Jews that they call home, which they might be running back to that pretty soon because that entity, Israel, is going to get sacked. It is. But at any rate, so we've seen this playbook before. This is not a new phenomenon. It's nothing new under the sun. But these war strategists, they studied Hannibal, and then they studied our great African fighters and whatnot. And they studied those war tactics. And so this is all they do, is come up with these war tactics. There's no way under this earth that Iran sent their best at Israel yet. They haven't seen it. And what's going to happen is both of these places are going to wind up destroying themselves, which I say all praise to the Father, because I don't have a horse in the race. So we would be wise to pray for Israel, the Israelites, not that entity in North Africa called Israel that was constructed by the Rothschilds, another fake Jew, constructed by them for what? So that they could fulfill their own machinations about how prophecy should run? No, that's not a mighty hand and an outstretched arm. And Fury poured out how that nation was formed. That nation was formed by, okay, I'm big bank and I'm about to take little bank. Now shut the up. That's all that was. It wasn't nothing else. So what you brothers have been rocking with is on point. What I will say is I want to say the shalom to Pensalola, y'all's blessed. Shalom, sis. Like the brother had said, I've been in the background. You saw me on, I believe it's Lisa Cabrera's channel. But like the brother Elisha said, I've been in the background, not really doing a whole lot, just resting, because these shows do take a lot out of you, as the brothers can attest. I want to show you a response video, though. This video
is going to give you the sentiment of what the Iranians really feel, and it's got some truth in it. So I'm not going to spoil it. I think I'm probably going to speed it up a little bit, just for the sake of time. But I want you to check out this PM and check out the contrast between these two and listen very carefully to what they're saying. Okay, so I'm just going to press play. I'm not going to interrupt it. Okay, can you guys hear the video?
No, we cannot.
Cannot. Okay, so what did I break? Let's see here. Let's go that share. Oh, yeah, I know what I need to do. Instead of doing that, I need to do that. Okay, should be able to hear it now. Let me know if you can hear it when I press play.
Your reaction to what
There we go. That's good.
There was a major
I'm gonna let that run for you guys a minute.
For the Israeli regime, they crossed the red line and they got punished for it. Of course, the Israelis can say 110% of the drones and missiles were downed. That's fine, but they can also take journalists to see the bases that the Iranians have said were severely damaged. They can easily do that today or tomorrow.
Are you sure it's major? Because I saw on Twitter you said it was just a small slap in the face.
Oh, it was a small slap in the face for Iran. The two bases were severely damaged. But Iran has a huge stockpile of drones and missiles, and Iran hasn't used its most advanced weapons. So if there's
what would they be, Professor? Nuclear weapons?
No, they're more advanced drones and missiles. Iran is not like the United States, which has and uses and has already used nuclear weapons. Iran's peaceful program, as we've seen over the years, has been peaceful, and there's never been any evidence to show otherwise. But Iran has more advanced drones and missiles, and the very fact that the Americans don't want to be a part of any Israeli counter-response shows that the Americans know where the power lies. So the smart thing for the Israeli regime to do would be to refrain from responding. They got their punishment and they should live with it. They can say that 200% of the drones were down and 300% of the missiles were down, but as long as they keep quiet, they'll be safe. But if they strike Iran again, it's going to get much worse.
And do you think that could happen?
Well, the Israeli regime is a genocidal regime. It has no morality. It has its leaders are not sane in the way in which we would view people as sane. No sane person carries out genocide. But I think they also are calculating what will happen. If the regime continues to attack Iran, then Iran will attack harder next time. And then if they do it again, Iran will continue to strike back. And that is not something that's sustainable for such a small and vulnerable regime, which has already lost on the battlefield in Gaza and on the border with Lebanon.
Do you think either government has the best interests of its people at heart?
Yes, Iran definitely does. Iran is protecting its citizens. The Israeli regime bombed an Iranian embassy, murdering people, and your government, the British government, refused to condemn it at the UN Security Council. The US government and the French government refused to do that. So when the West prefers the law of the jungle, and when they believe that they can strike and kill and carry out genocide whenever they want, but others cannot respond when they're attacked, then the rest of the world has to devise means by which to protect themselves. And the reason why Iran has such a powerful missile and drone capability that even Western capitals acknowledge grudgingly is because Iran has to protect itself from these sort of aggressive actions. So the Israeli regime, I think, will think very carefully in future about striking Iranians. In fact, I think the most important thing that comes out of this exchange is that Iran has struck the Israeli regime directly. And that means that from now on, if the Israeli regime targets Iranians anywhere, that Iran will hit back at Israel itself. The Israelis brought this upon themselves, and they'll have to live with it.
How do you think a war between Israel and Iran would end?
Israel has failed to take the Gaza Strip, a dot on the map. That is a humiliating defeat. It has failed to even maintain its borders.
Well, it would say, sorry to interrupt you, Professor, but it would say its operation there hasn't finished.
Well, after 6 months, if they can't take the small Gaza Strip, that doesn't say much for the regime. Iran is the most important country in Western Asia. It's the most powerful country in Western Asia. And Iran has the upper hand. If the Israeli regime chooses to continue this conflict, they will pay a heavy price. And as I said, I think the United States has so far recognized this and has been more intelligent. The fact that the Americans have so far, from what we've heard, said that they don't want to be a part of any escalation is because they know that Iran's capabilities can drive the prices of oil through the roof. If the United States attacks Iran, then those countries that host U.S. bases, they will be seen as a partner in crime. And oil and gas installations in this region will be destroyed. That would lead to a global economic catastrophe. The Americans, I think there are enough sane people in Washington who recognize that, so I don't think we'll have war. So for Iran, going back to what you asked before, is the government acting in the interest of the Iranian people? Yes. Iran has never initiated a war, but Iran has shown the United States, the Israeli regime, that if they initiate conflict with Iran, they will be punished. And that is what has kept our country safe.
There will be, just to finish off, differing views on what you've said, certainly in terms of Iran's actions via its, you may call them allies, others may call them proxies, with the Houthis, with Hamas, with Hezbollah, in that Iran is an aggressor. It's not on defensive posture.
I think you and I both know, and your colleagues know, and everyone knows, that the Israeli regime is an apartheid regime. It is an ethno-supremacist regime. It carries out ethnic cleansing, and it kills Palestinians on a regular basis, not just in Gaza, in the West Bank. And what we are seeing in Gaza has been going on for
Okay, so I believe most of the good stuff is over now.
All witnessing.
Did you guys notice the contrast between the Iranian professor and that, what is it, MI5, MI6 newscaster dude?
Yeah, Iran. You can see the security in his speech. Like, they're very confident going forward. I think that as we was articulating earlier, is actually the state of Israel, the so-called state of Israel, the United States, whose wisdom has deceived them. Because I think Iran wanted this for a long time. The Ayatollah of Iran has spoken against Israel for the longest time, amongst other people, other nations within the so-called Middle East. So you can hear inside like the confidence that he has regarding anything going forward. And I think it's also in a way to say, okay, he's provoking Israel. He wants to provoke them to respond. And you can hear it as well, hey, like Israel, if they do that, then they know that Iran directly will counter back.
Brother Najid, I got another video that layers on top of everything that the brother just said. You want to comment before I play it?
Oh no, it was pretty obvious. It was a, thanks for playing that. It's just pretty obvious. I don't think Iran wants to push Israel, but I think Iran, when it all boils down to it, I think Iran knows that that they really do have the upper hand in this. It's all about what the Most High wants.
Yes.
Yeah, it's all about what the Most High wants, and obviously, Israel has an agenda, and they are trying to use the U.S., who is, always there, to side with them. They're trying to use the U.S. as sort of a buffer, and I don't think the world is afraid of the U.S. anymore. I think the U.S. is losing its policing power of the world, and Iran is definitely aware of that.
That's absolutely correct. Now, I want to continue on with that other video that I had on, because in that same video, you saw the Iranians cheering and they were pumped up, right? Let's watch the Israeli. I want to say Israelites, but I don't want to be demeaning to them, but it is what it is. Let's see their response. All right. I've got the same video queued up. This is a video that we were watching earlier. And play button.
So celebrations in Iran over in Israel, things were more subdued. Some said they were used to the rocket and missile barrage. Others were more wary.
Actually, all heard about the attack of Iran, but we're not afraid because we went to celebrate birthday of one of our friends, and we already got used to being attacked for the last 6 months.
The situation is really frightening because we're afraid of what happens, and a lot of bombing and aircraft that are coming.
So what next?
I'm going to stop right there, because I think that's showing enough of it. Now, what I gleaned out of just that little glimpse was there's a different tenor between these two nations right now. And I actually see fear in Israel. I see fear in them, and I also see fear in Christianity. I see fear in religion. You can see it because none of that is coming to pass. None of what they've been saying is coming true. Now, with respect to World War III, I want brothers and sisters, if you have time, and I'm not going to do the research for you, but research what was happening in the heavens during the Civil War, during World War II, during World War I. And matter of fact, any of your what they call wars, period. See what was going on from an astrological perspective, because the heavenlies do impact what happens on earth. Christianity in Rome has said, okay, don't listen to these things or don't pay attention to these things, when our people were great astrologers and stargazers and understood the mathematics behind it. But do some research. Do some research and try to understand what was going on with the luminaries, which are alive. They're not no twinkle, twinkle, little star. They do live and breathe just like how you do, but they just operate a little bit differently. And they were put there by the Father. They are living and breathing entities, and they do have an impact on what happens here. That eclipse that just went through and passed signifies a lot more than just the X over the United Snakes, the X over the daughter of Babylon, because we know, as we've been teaching, that the snakes is the daughter of Babylon. It's not Babylon, it's the daughter of. And the brothers already brought you precepts that support that. But it's not just that, though. This is much bigger than. So I'm going to address where you should be at Israel. I got one more video I want to play, because the brother did ask the question, as far as the brothers did, as far as, okay, so what are these people, what are these entities going to do next? What's next on deck? And so I had another, is it Demona? Where is it? Yeah, okay, here's another video. And I don't think this is the one I want. So just give me a second to find it. Brothers, you got some commentary for us in terms of what you saw, or just in general? Because I need to find this other video. Damn it. There we go. Okay, I think I found it. Okay, so go ahead, bro, and then I'll cue up the video. I did find it. Go ahead and speak. I'm sorry.
Oh no. Go ahead. I actually was just gonna hit Brother Elisha up and see if he had anything.
Okay.
Nah, everything is on point to me, and I think that we're on the same page when it comes to the climate of the Middle East, the climate regarding America. We unequivocally, we've shown who Esau is and the direction it's going. So Israel, it's not a time for fear for us. This actually should be a time, just like them so-called Iranians, the Medes are celebrating. We should be doing. We should have some jubilation in us, sorry, brother.
Yep. That's what's up. Hey, shalom, brother Bonnie. How you doing, man?
Peace and blessing, brother. Hey, awesome live, man. I'm just sitting back and listening. I didn't really have too much to add to the conversation, because the information is kind of new to me, but touching on, how, everybody's getting afraid, including Christianity. You can see it in the churches. You can see it in the people. They've lowered their tone in their vocalization towards Israelites, because a lot of the stuff that they said was supposed to come to pass isn't coming to pass. So as far as the things happening in Iran and in Israel, I stand 100% with the brother Cleo. Like, let them have at it, because the more they war with each other, that only assures our release. That only assures our freedom. So,
So peace and blessings, brother Banya. And also another thing, I just wanted to throw this in there too. You got to remember that though we might consider ourselves Americans, I mean, our people do. On this panel, we know we're not Americans, and I know a lot of people in the chat know they're not Americans. But you got to really know the real concern of America when it comes to us, when it comes to some of our brothers and sisters that's in Haiti or Jamaica and coastal islands of the Caribbean. They know that the other nations don't see us as Americans. They know Russia doesn't see us as Americans. They're not looking at us in large part as their threat, as they are looking at Esau particularly. They're looking at us as a nation that's distinct and diverse from them. The object of their war, their celebration is not at us. When they think of American attacking America, they're thinking about the so-called the Edomite. They're thinking about the American powers. I'm talking about the true European, the bloodlines, if you like they said, Brother Sulam Yaakov has said. Vladimir Putin releasing those pictures was for him to at least help our people see in our heart. And I'm not saying this is what he was motivated by, but for us to say to ourselves, damn, you know, what are the implications that we're these people and they're in our land with our money and our resources? Like to start to have some of our people that's deaf, dumb, and blind, the Most High will use for his purposes to say, hey, yo, we need to separate from these people, not only just physically, but spiritually. And that the nation see us as such. Like if the Most High is using the means that we should be strengthened, that we may lay our hands on Edom, what does that tell you? That tells you that our how they see us and see them is different. Their attacks on them is different. Now, of course, we can have some collateral damage being in the midst of them because we love them so much and we want to go down with Master, you know. But in large part, they know the distinct difference between us and them the same way Hitler did, same way Vladimir Putin does, same way the Ayatollah of Iran does when he spoke out about some of the oppressions we suffer here, same way the president and prime minister of China, all of them that spoke out against, or at least to point us out specifically to say America has some nerve in the way in our treatment of us. So it's like keep that in mind that they're not looking at us the same. In our deliverance, we can rejoice in that too. Even if you don't know the Bible like that, you got to see the difference between the temperament when they're looking at these people and us.
Hey, you know what? And just along the lines of that, what do they call it when someone's a victim of abuse and then they start to kind of sympathize with the abuse? Stockholm. Yeah. So I think that's what we deal with a lot. In terms of our people, everybody can see that we're hostages except for us. You know, everybody can see that we're really in the area where we're not valued. We're kind of just captives. You know, we're captives in this land, but you know, we become complacent with our captors and we become sympathetic to this construct. You know, I would say the best way to be able to maneuver is to get as much as we can out of this construct so that when it's time for us to move forward, we can move forward with some kind of understanding and knowledge of how to build some things for ourselves. You know, but yeah, that's definitely what's going on here. They don't see us as Americans when they wage war. A lot of times you hear conversations coming, well, why are you guys fighting for them? Like myself being in the military, you know, at one point they would ask, you know, the combatants would ask, why are you guys fighting us? Why are you fighting? You know, we don't want to fight you. We don't like these people over here, you know. But because a lot of our people bought into this quote unquote American dream, you know, they think they're part of something and it's not really for them.
Indeed. Awesome points. Family, when get your family and play this video back and listen to what the brothers are speaking on, because the brothers are dropping some real good jewels that, you know, you might find it on a combination of places, but you know, when Salt of the Earth does bring it, they bring it like no other. So I'm gonna throw on this last video, and this video is going to speak to the timing of what Israel should do or how Israel should do what they should do in terms of a response. So I'm going to cue this up. I got it shared and hopefully you all will be able to hear it when I press play.
Joining us now from Tel Aviv is Danny Danon, former Israeli ambassador to the United Nations and a member of the Knesset. So Danny Danon, thank you very much for making the time to speak to us this afternoon. You will have heard President Herzog saying this is a declaration of war. What's your assessment of where Israel finds itself today?
Kamali, well, last night was unprecedented. We have experienced a brutal attack coming directly from Iran. And I stress the word directly because we got used to the fact that Iran is a state that sponsors terrorism in the region. They have a huge budget of $7 billion for the proxies. And we saw the proxies in action, whether it's Hezbollah from Lebanon or the Houthis from Yemen. But for the first time, we saw an attack from Iran against Israel. We are very grateful and proud of the defense system that last night proved their capabilities and the superiority of our technology. But at the same time, we realize that we cannot ignore what happened. We will have to retaliate. We will have to send a message to Tehran that it is unacceptable to attack a sovereign country with hundreds of rockets and missiles and expect us to sit idly by.
What do you expect that retaliation, Danny Danon, to look like? What kind of targets would you want to see struck?
Well, I think we should act fast, because we shouldn't wait too long. And the decision should be whether we attack the proxies or we attack Iran. I think my personal opinion is because of the fact that Iran chose to send those rockets from Iran, we have to retaliate back to target the bases or the airfields which they used in order to attack us and to send a clear message. We have no desire to start a war with Iran, but at the same time, I'm not familiar with any nation around the world that would observe hundreds of rockets and will not retaliate.
And you'll know, Danny Danon, that the Iranians have said, following the assault on Israel, that that was it for them, unless another attack from Israel is forthcoming. You're suggesting that one should be forthcoming. So you see how suddenly you're into an escalatory spiral. Where does it end?
Well, it's absolutely not acceptable that Iran would send hundreds of rockets and then they would say, that's it for us for today. What will happen commonly next week when they will find another reason to send rockets? We cannot accept this equation that Iran will decide when to attack us, how many rockets to send on our civilians, and then they will decide when to stop. It doesn't work that way. They will have to pay a price, and they will pay a price for what happened last night.
Itamar Ben-Gvir, who is the National Security Minister and on the War Cabinet, has said in a post on social media that Israel needs to basically go berserk. He says that in the Middle East, you must show that you've gone berserk and completely lost it. What does he mean by going berserk? And do you want the response from Israel to be as forceful as it can possibly be?
We have a very rational and responsible government. I know all the players. I sit on the Foreign Affairs and Defense Committee. I'm sure they will reach a rational decision how to respond, where to send our capabilities. So we are logical.
Okay, I'm gonna stop him from talking because I think we have the gist of his tenor and I couldn't hear it. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop him. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. But before I do that, take a look at some of these videos on the side here. This one, Israel vows to exact a price as Iran launches first ever direct, whatever the rest of that is. Israel's response to Iran should have definable beginning and end. So he's doing neck talk. A lot of the commoners, a lot of the common man that you live next door to, that you live around, that happens to be a heathen, in their mind, America is proud, and America is there is no other like America. And so America is on tier 1, and all the other nations start at tier 6. So America is that much greater in Americans' eyes. However, you do have the specter of America being brought down, and all the precepts that the brothers have brought today, and that we have all brought to bear, talk about the destruction of not only this entity called the Israeli, but also the entity called the United Snakes of America. So you got the tenor of how quickly and what this is going to, I won't say devolve, I say it's going to evolve into. It's going to evolve into both of them probably taking themselves out and everybody jumping in, because what's called the Middle East, which is probably a 40-year-old thing that it's been called that, really North Africa, is a powder keg that's ready to explode. Now, the last thing I'm going to ask, I'm not going to share any more videos. I got some other videos queued up, but I'm not even going to show those. And this is to our people now. So something should have and this is going to sound crazy, but I'm going to say it anyway. Something should have changed in you prior to the eclipse and after the eclipse. You should have already been, before the eclipse happened, you should have already been on a path of getting right with the Father. And what does that mean? Well, what is the Father? And what should those that worship the Father must do? You must worship him in spirit and in truth. Okay? So if you're running around halfway, giving to the Father what should be given to him, which is your time and your talent, and not 10% the Creflo Dollar and that effeminate sexual deviant TD snakes. And see, I was calling it, I saw what Gino Jennings called it TD snake. I was calling it that years ago, but I digress. So what does all this stuff going on mean? What it should mean is that your heart should be right for repentance. You should be repenting of the things that you've done, past, present, and future. And you should be in a good standing with the Father, because all H is going to break loose on the earth, and you want to continue to be his hidden one, but at the same time be like a roaring lion, because it's time out for the fishers now. We passed the fishing prospect point. Now it's time for the hunters to step on the scene. So if you're a hunter, then you're going to step on the scene and do some great exploits. But we should be rejoicing and happy. I love popcorn. I love popcorn, not with butter, but we put olive oil on, put seasonings on, no salt. Tastes actually delicious. I'm probably going to pop some in a few minutes. However, Israelites should have their popcorn ready, and you should be looking to, like the brother said, take what you can take from this nation. Take the good things that they do, because there are some good here, and that only good comes from the Israelites. But take the good that you see and see if you could build something. And not necessarily build it here, but wherever we may be, or wherever the wilderness is. But you should be prepared to do that and take that with you, because we're going to need everybody that's capable of doing things. But I'm loving this. I'm loving this war. And that may sound crazy, because normally I consider myself a peacemaker. I'm not one to be at odds, try to be at odds, and try to be one to make peace typically. But you have to consider what's going on with the luminaries. And then you have to also ask yourself, why did religion keep us away from studying the stars and understanding what was happening above us? When the Bible talks about it from front to back, it's always talking about it. And it's always, and it even talks about the good side. Matter of fact, I believe it was Elijah. One of the prophets said, "Hey, get all your astrologers, y'all get all y'all people together, and y'all pray to y'all God. Get all your people, and let's see who God wins." And this is what this is ultimately about. This is ultimately about us and about these nations destroying themselves. Psalms 83. Go ahead, y'all go ahead and destroy yourselves. Meanwhile, we should not be praying for neither one of them. And we should be praying for their destruction. So I'm gonna end with that. You brothers can have the floor back. Hey, and shalom to everybody that's in the chat. Miss you guys. Haven't been around. That was a funny comment, Joy. It's good to see you. ET, it's good to see you. It's good to see all of you. Peace and blessings to you all.
Yeah, that was thanks, brother C, as always, man. Yeah, definitely. That was definitely a good word. What you last said really kind of sticks out for me. Observing the constellations and realizing that these are entities created by the Most High for signs for Israel. And I could certainly say in Christianity all my life, I've always been told that, it was wrong to look at the stars. It was wrong to look at the stars and see signs. Brother Elijah and I, a little while back, we were talking about, you got to remind me, because I've gone over this in scripture, Brother Elijah, 900 times, and it never it never sticks in my head. There were, for the people of Israel, for them to hear from the Most High, there were, what are they called again? There were these rocks that they used.
The Urim and the Thummim.
There you go. Thank you. I can never remember that for some reason. And those things, those things we see, certain people today, they're using these stones and they're putting the stones in the moon to be charged and stuff like that. Things stolen from the people of Israel and the way we lived under the rule of the Most High, that they've stolen. And now we look at it, or we've been told to look at it from a Christian perspective as being evil, as being wrong. And we're not supposed to look at these things. And it really takes me back to how, what something I said earlier in this live, how we've been placed in our captivity. And we need to get out of here, y'all, in order to worship the Most High the right way. Our cry of let us go needs to be coupled with so that we can worship the Most High in the wilderness, worship him the right way. Everything that was stolen from us, we need it back. So again, thanks, Brother C. Thank you for that, man. That was a great, I won't say word because, you showed a few videos and you said a lot of things that were spot on. So thank you, bro.
Brother Bonnie, did you want to? Well, before Brother Bonnie comes up, if he comes up, definitely great wisdom, knowledge, and understanding by the elder brother, as always. Also wanted to say this is that if you believe the scriptures, and I know we're not in here, we don't believe. I just want to, matter of fact, brother, if you don't mind grabbing up Jeremiah chapter 12, like these nations or these ish people, these kind of somethings, by their own definition, they will be plucked out of the land. They will be plucked out of the land of Israel, and the Most High will put us back in the land of our inheritance. So go down to verse 16, I believe it is. Matter of fact, start at verse 14. And matter of fact, I'll read it, brother, if you don't mind.
All right. There you go.
If you want to read, you can go ahead and read it.
All right. Jeremiah chapter 12, verse 14. Thus saith the Lord against all my evil neighbors that touch the inheritance which I have caused my people Israel to inherit. Behold, I will pluck them out of their land and pluck out the house of Judah from among them. And it shall come to pass, after that I have plucked them out, I will return and have compassion on them, and will bring them again, every man to his heritage and every man to his land. And it shall come to pass that they will diligently learn the ways of my people, to swear by my name, the Lord liveth, as they have taught my people to swear by Baal. Then shall they be built in the midst of my people. But if they will not obey, I will utterly pluck up and destroy that nation, saith the Lord.
Now, we got a lot of Baal worship going on in the earth, but I ain't going to concentrate on that. But the Most High says, against all mine evil neighbors. Like, just look at the demographics of the Middle East around what belongs to us. Just look at the surrounding nations. Chiefly, look at the Edomite nation that was bordering ours. They have touched the inheritance of Jake. It says, all mine evil neighbors touched the inheritance which I have caused my people Israel to inherit. They burned the temple. It says, I will pluck them out of their land. They're getting out. The leopard, the Greeks, the ones they modeled themselves after, the Medes are being stirred up. And not just Iran by itself, because Iran is not alone, which we spoke about. And they will pursue them out of that land, and they will return to the land of their fathers, if indeed you want to call the places they stole in the land of their fathers, because they damn sure not going back to Saudi Arabia or modern day Esau. But yeah, they're going to get plucked out of that land. And the Most High says he's going to put us back in the land. This time is a special time. When they talk about when the Mashiach said Abraham longed to see his day, he was excited about the day of the Mashiach. The Most High has chosen us to be the elect that live in this time. Like, think about that for a second. Poor people. Think about this second. Downtrodden, held captive, run around being called bywords and proverbs, and you're alive right now. You've been chosen for this time, the culmination of the times, the return. Now how special that is? That throughout history, we've been leading up to this moment. All the great prophets that live, all the people that love the Most High, definitely more than we have managed to love him in the filth and sins that we've committed. Everything we've done in this land has been debaucherous or abominable. Learned by the heathen. Some of us liked it too.
May I interject, brother?
Go ahead, brother.
You know, also another thing that stands out within these chapters that you asked me, or these verses you asked me to read, is Jeremiah 12 and 15. You know, so much we get flack for, you know, talking about who we are and that we're Israelites. And everybody wants to tell us that has nothing to do with the gospel. But what you see consistently in the scripture is that the Most High bringing his people back to what belongs to them. 12 and 15 says he would bring every man to his heritage and every man to his land. So that tells you there are people running around that's not in their correct heritage. There's people running around that's not in their correct land.
You misread that, brother. That means Christians that's going to get a chance to live on chemtrail clouds.
That's yeah, they already on cloud nine already, because you got to be high to believe some of that stuff, you know, because it's, you know, it's right here. Every man to his heritage and every man to his land, you know. So if what we're saying about us being Israelites is not valid, then why is Jeremiah saying that the Most High is going to bring people back into understanding who they are and bring people back to understanding where they belong? So that tells you Christianity has gotten it way wrong. The world has gotten it wrong. You know, we're so forgotten in this land, and everybody's looking at the wars and things that's going on, but nobody's really equating it to what the Most High's people are going through and what they've done to his people. And that's one of the reasons why it's important for us to really separate from these people and to make sure that we're in good standings with the Most High. Because when the difference starts to be made between his and what is not his, you want to be standing next to him. You don't want to be standing next to the other people. You don't want to be standing hand in hand. What does scripture say? Though they stand hand in hand. Well, what scripture is that? Where it says, though they stand hand in hand.
So it's about Isaiah chapter 5.
Yeah, I believe that's Isaiah chapter 5. It says, though they stand hand in hand.
Saying, let it be house in house. I'll grab it up real quick.
The hand joineth the hand, or something in that hand joineth. I digress. You can join hand in hand with these people if you want. That's not going to stop the Most High's destruction, like the brother Elisha said. You don't have any say in the recompense. You can pray for it, just as our forefathers are before the altar praying, asking the Father when will he bring vengeance. But what will happen, you can't stop what the Most High is going to bring. You can't stand in the way of the Most High's wrath. It's dangerous, you know. And as his children, we should understand being the recipients of the curses. You know, we should understand fully what the Most High is capable of doing. We should understand enough to fear and get out of the way, you know, because what he's going to bring on these nations, what he's already begun to bring on these nations, it's small compared to what he's going to do. That's all I have to say, brother.
Yeah, so in concurring with the brother, the Most High he's gonna pluck them out of the land that belongs to us, that he promised to our fathers. And they will be chased out of their land and returned to their own land. And the Most High is going to use us. He's going to use, like, what is, matter of fact, what is Ezekiel 12:25, I believe it is. Where it says, somebody grab up Ezekiel, I believe it's 12:25, if I'm not mistaken. If I ain't mistaken, I think Ezekiel 12:25. Matter of fact, I'm sorry, Ezekiel 25:14. Read that real quick, brother. Ezekiel 25:14.
I got it. I could read it. You want me to post it on the screen?
Yeah, go ahead and post it on the screen.
All right. Give me 1 second.
Make sure you cover the camera.
Okay, Ezekiel 25:14. And I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel, and they shall do in Edom according to mine anger and according to my fury, and they shall know my vengeance, said the Most High, Elohim.
Now, I don't know if you go into the book of Josephus, it could be Philo that I read it in. It was actually, we sent our women to actually take the spoils from Egypt. That took their spoils. And we left with them, but our women actually spoiled them, chiefly, predominantly. And we left Egypt with great substance. The Most High is going to allow us to put our hands on these people. Like the scripture says, thou art my battle axe and weapons of war. If the nations are against us, when they come to exact the Most High's punishes on them, you know that the Most High is sparing us the same way he did in Isaiah chapter 8 when he says, go up and go by. He told the king of Israel, I believe Ahaz, that the Syrians would not touch Judah, the same way that the Medes will not touch us. At least not those of us who know that we're returning to our own land and is standing on our true heritage, not running around as some puppy dog in love with his master, with his slave master. So these things are happening right in our sight. These things are happening in our time. And we have to recognize, we have to keep our eyes around, looking around at all these things that's happening. We can't, like, you got to cut the movies off. You got to cut the TV shows off that they're using to distract you. You got to not watch the fake news, like the brother Cleo said. Just don't turn on CNN, Fox News, and CBS and all those things. You're not going to get real news there. You can get one-sided news where that newsacre felt so comfortable saying that Israel must retaliate. Now, let me get this straight. You kill a high-ranking judiciary or political figure in Iran a year and a half ago. You turn around and you send an airstrike to destroy its embassy in Syria a week or two ago. They respond, and your vocation, at least according to Joe Biden, is that we will support Israel. Netanyahu, we will respond with force. And then we're talking about this guy on the news that says Israel must respond, and they must respond, what is it, furiously? What are you responding to? You act as if this was an attack that they started, that the inception of these attacks started with Iran attacking you. And as they quoted, Iran hasn't attacked anybody in many, many seasons. You talk almost 20 years since Iran has picked up and saying from its own soil. This is a rare thing. So what is he talking about? They have to respond. That's how you know when the warmongering is going on, when the fake news is going that Donald Trump talks about. They want you to believe no matter what America and so-called these Israelis do, is that it's because they're protecting themselves. And we know that that's not the case. So, brother Najee, if you wanted to say something before we conclude, and we're gonna keep, salt of the earth, we're gonna keep a watchful eye on everything. Same way the Most High is riling us up and riling up the other brothers, because other brothers putting their stuff out too. Most High has a watchful eye on it. He got us having a watchful. Go ahead, brother.
No, I just wanted to say real quick. I think everything has been said. Brother Banya came on a little later, juiced it up. Brother Cleo came on, juiced it up, and you had it going for the entirety of the live, bro. So I think most of it has been said. I think the family understands that we gotta keep watch and keep ready, keep that let us go going, and our deliverance is not. Just gotta say a big what's up, and I miss you, bro. Brother Yashadak, I see you in the chat, man. Great to see you, bro. That's all I got to say, bros. Be well, fam.
Yeah, I seen brother Yashadek. He slides still in the he's been around in the background, showing support. Hey man, you know, you can make your presence known a little stronger if you so desire. Actually, before we go, I just want to I know some people have asked us about the t-shirts or the Let Us Go t-shirts, which I'm trying to, if I can get my computer to act right with me. Here go the Let Us Go t-shirts. I know some people asked us about them. We don't have them up for sale yet. We're just trying to get a gauge of who wants to get the shirts. You're definitely going to see us with them. If you can see it closer, Let Us Go means repatriations. Let Us Go mean reparations. Let Us Go means name, heritage, and nobility. You know, and if you want to support us at our Cash App, Salt of the Earth, or $ Salt of the Earth 777, $ Salt of the Earth 777. You do that at your leisure. You know, you're not required to. If you feel like you want to support the brothers on the channel and the content we do, you know, you can support us at that. You can support us in many other ways. You can reach out to us through the email, the Salt of the Earth email. And like I said, these are the Let Us Go t-shirts. I think the Let Us Go is so spiritual, and that's how we have to carry. We got to be ready to go. So if anybody has interest in the t-shirts, leave a comment inside the comments. Leave a comment inside our email. Let us know if you want the shirt. Like I said, it's not up for sale right now. We just put it out there for people to request it, and we'll go from there. But unless the brothers have anything else they want, did y'all see that? But there's my screen being showed.
Yeah, we can see it, bro. That's clear.
All right, so. Unless the brothers want to say anything else, peace and blessing to all the family scattered to the four corners of the earth. Of course, as always, all praises be to the Most High of Zion of Israel. He is our Father. He is our God, our Creator. Our salvation is the true King, the only King that will rule. He will break the nations with a rod of arm. He will establish his people to be princes and priests and kings on the earth again. Our women will no longer be abhorred but act unseemly. They will be princesses and queens again. They will be that delicate woman that they were before our captivities. Our children will be raised, the hearts of the fathers back to the sons. Our people will be together again in the land of the living with our fathers, Abraham, Yitzchak, and Jacob, amongst all the other brothers and sisters of Israel that lived from the beginning of the time even till now. All the righteous will be together, even the elect. So we call on our people to keep their eyes on what's going on. Keep praising the Most High. Stay in prayer. Remind your families. Remind everybody you know to stay in prayer, that this time is drawing near. And we got to make sure in your hearts you got the sign of the Most High in your heart, his name, and who you are, and keeping those laws, statutes, and commandments by Hashem Yeshai, his son. And remember, let us go, let us go, let us go, let us go. Anybody else got something to say?
That's it. Let us go. Shalom, fam.
Amen.
All right, peace and blessings, Zion.